In the beginning, there was only the Ether and the Keepers. Among them were two beings who would later be known by many names. We know them as Dr. Monty and the Shadow Man. The Keepers crafted the summoning key, a device that allows them to manipulate the Ether. Holding the power to alter reality itself, they use it to create Agartha. Having now established the universe, the Keepers mastered the ability to travel between dimensions. Using this newfound power, they discover the Dark Ether. Some Keepers begin to experiment with the Dark Ether, which corrupts their souls. Among them is the Shadow Man. The corrupted Keepers create the Ether Pyramid, a device capable of absolute power. A schism forms between them and the Keepers untainted by the Dark Ether. Eventually, war breaks out between the divided factions. This battle is known as the War of Agartha. Facing defeat, the corrupted Keepers hide the Ether Pyramid on a moon within one of the newly discovered dimensions. After banishing the corrupted Keepers to the Dark Ether beneath creation, the remaining Keepers take on the mantle of Guardians. Trapped in the Dark Ether, the corrupted Keepers contort and evolve over eons, ultimately becoming the Apothicons. They desire above all else to return to Agartha. September 3rd, 5 AD. Knowing the planet has a gateway to Agartha, the Apothicons send meteors of element 115 to Earth. They believe humanity will one day use element 115 to wage war amongst themselves, opening a rift that will allow the Apothicons to escape the Dark Ether. January 15th, 1292. The Great War between humanity and the Apothicons begins. April 14th, 1294. A knight called Sir Pablo Marinus is saved from the clutches of a Margwa by 4 unknown heroes. They would later become known as Primus. December 31st, 1299. Together with the Keepers, Primus defeats the Apothicons, bringing the Great War to an end. January 1st, 1300. Before they seemingly disappear from history, Primus instructs the Wolf King to begin building Dreisendrach. September 19th, 1318. Honouring the Wolf King's dying request, his loyal servant Arthur scatters and buries his bones in the grounds of Dreisendrach, accompanied by the King's Wolf. April 14th, 1885. A man named Jebediah Brown begins telling his story.
The day's the 14th of April, the year of our Lord 1885. A day I will hold dear until my last. I have done and spent 30 years of my life in Purgatory Point. My ma brought me out here when I was but 10 years young. She hoped to give us a chance at a new life. They're good folk here in Purgatory Point. Sure, sometimes they get a little rowdy, and maybe we strayed too far from heaven's gaze, but what do you expect from a frontier mining town? Something happened to one of the miners. Clive Farnsworth, a good man, came by the shop a few times. Anyway, he went down into that mine, stayed down there for 10 days. When he came back up, he was changed. They say he was like a feral animal, rabid and carnivorous. His mind was gone, his flesh all sallow and bloody, his eyes ablaze in a red light. First home he stumbled upon was me and Ma's. I was at the shop at the time. Ma went out to meet him, and Clive, Doc said it happened quick. Clive jumped on her, ripped her throat. Old Bill ran over, put 2 through Clive's skull, shot him dead, like a dog. But Ma, she's been laid to rest now. She'll rise up to heaven, and bless her soul, she'll be greeted with open arms. That mine, they've been digging for that blue rock. Some folks say you stare too long, you'll find the devil in it. I need answers. I need to understand what happened. I'll head down to that mine tomorrow.
April 19th, 1885.
The day's the 19th of April, the year of our Lord, 1885. Somehow. I don't know how it's possible. Last I recall, I was headed into the mine. I swear, I was only down there for a few hours. When I come back up, townsfolk say I've been missing for 5 days. Then there was last night. When I slept, I had a vision. 2 angels came down to me from heaven. They told me I needed to be ready to prepare for what was coming. And what was coming, they would not tell me, but how to prepare. Build a machine, they said. A machine that will grant you great power. Now, this machine was complex, requiring craftsmanship and mechanical skill I did not have. I told them such, but they said not to worry. They would guide my hands. The way they described it, it sounded like an oven or a kiln. You stick your rifle inside, and when it come back out, well, let's just say that rifle would pack a serious punch.
The 2 angels are Monty and the Shadow Man, asking Jebediah to craft the Pack-a-Punch machine. June 30th, 1885.
The day's the 30th of June, the year of our Lord, 1885. My invention is the talk of the town. People been coming from far and wide, eager for a chance to upgrade their firearm. Revolver, rifle, the machine don't care. It'll pack 'em all. I pray every night, thanking the heavens for sending them 2 angels. I couldn't have done this without their guiding hand. They returned to me last night. They told me there was another machine they wished me to build. They called it the Agarthan device. Said it had the power to grant that which one truly desires. I told them I was their servant. Show me the path and I will walk. They said I needed 3 things. The blood of an elder god, an elemental shard, and a metallic vessel to harness and carry both. To find the blood, they instructed me to travel to the bottom of the ocean. I told them this I could not do, for I would perish. To craft an elemental shard, they instructed me to forge 4 souls with a blue rock from our mine. I told them this I could not do, for I do not have the means to siphon a human soul to an element. But a metal vessel? Well, I am a blacksmith. That I think I could manage.
July 21st, 1885.
The day's the 21st of July, the year of our Lord, 1885. I have a confession. I am burdened with sin. I fear I am the architect of my own damnation. This town is cursed. The devil himself has possessed our people. Folk have been acting all kinds of crazy, paranoia, visions, seeing things that ain't there. And the violence. 7 dead in the last 5 days. Sheriff don't know what's gotten into these people. But I know it. It's that damned mine. Them blue rocks. Doc believes them to be meteors from the sky, from up in the stars. Maybe from heaven. But whatever the cause, I fear the disease that consumes this town has gotten to me as well. Last night, I felt overcome with loss and grief. I went to see Ma at the cemetery. Maybe it was the whiskey. Maybe it was delirium. I can't say, but I dug her up and took her into town. I took her to my shop where I kept the machine. I don't know what came over me. Like something took control of my body, like a puppet on strings. I put her in the machine. I don't know why. Maybe it would bring her back to me. But she vanished. Nothing came back out. I stumbled home in a daze, but as I arrive, I see before my eyes, I see an apparition, a spirit. It looks just like her, only when she was younger. She floats around the house now. I catch her playing the piano. The angels. They came back to me again. I've built the metal carriage just as they asked. Only one thing left to do now. Upgrade it with my machine.
July 22nd, 1885.
The day's the 22nd of July, the year of our Lord, 1885. We are truly lost. This town, these people, we are being punished by heaven for our transgressions, and now must suffer the righteous hand of retribution. I did as they asked. I put the metal vessel in the pack-a-punch machine just as instructed. Next thing I know, all the energy, all the power of the world gets sucked out of the air as if pulled inside the machine. Next thing, the world went wide. I came to, and I see that my shop, all the people, the whole damn town has been transported, as if willed by the Lord, into this cavern buried below the surface of the earth. I fear we are at the threshold of hell, the world just waiting to open below our feet. We've been overrun by the devil's army. The dead have risen and now do us in battle. My name is Jebediah Brown, and I bow humbly before the two angels and ask for forgiveness. Show us the path to salvation. We are listening. Hello?
The town is transported from America to Angola in Africa and buried underground. Zombies kill everyone, leaving only the ghost of Jebediah's mother to haunt the empty streets. June 30th, 1908. A meteor containing element 115 crashes near the Tunguska River in Siberia. August 30th, 1925. Dr. Edward Richtofen joins the Illuminati. February 4th, 1931. Large deposits of element 115 are discovered near Breslau, Germany. Dr. Ludwig Maxis, a German scientist, is sent to investigate. May 10th, 1931. Maxis forms Group 935, an experimental organization dedicated to the study of element 115.
Gentlemen, allow me to take this opportunity to welcome you to Group 935. This is a prestigious moment in the history of our race. You represent the future of technological advancement. You are the pioneers of human discovery. In your hands lies the destiny of mankind. In our hands is a great power, and with that power comes a price. You have volunteered to be part of this great experiment, and with that decision comes the responsibility of absolute secrecy. No one is to know what you do, where you work, what our research has uncovered or what our purpose will be. You will have no further contact with your governments or with your families. Your decision to fully dedicate your lives to Group 935 is absolute. In your lockers, you will find your Field Ops Manual, which will direct you should our manifesto get compromised. We cannot afford to let this power fall into the wrong hands, and therefore the Field Ops Manual should be considered your Bible. Make your preparations now. A new dawn is beginning for mankind.
November 5th, 1934. Samantha Maxis is born. Her mother dies in childbirth. August 11th, 1936. Maxis invites Richtofen to join Group 935. He agrees, secretly acting on behalf of the Illuminati's interests. April 10th, 1937. The Imperial Japanese Army discovers element 115 meteor fragments in a swamp within Japanese territories. They build the Rising Sun facility to continue research. Division 9 is created to oversee its operation. June 14th, 1937. The United States government discovers deposits of element 115 at Groom Lake, Nevada. July 2nd, 1939. Maxis and Richtofen begin teleportation experiments with the matter transference prototype, to mild success. The subjects are teleported, but their chemical composition is altered, leaving them catatonic and changed. August 5th, 1939. Using element 115, Maxis and Richtofen resurrect one of the teleported corpses for the first time.
Stand up. Stand up! Good. Look at me. Over here. Good. Now walk forward. Excellent. Further. Keep coming. It's all right. Stay there. Now calm down. I order you. Kill it. Bring me another.
September 3rd, 1939. Richtofen begins development of the Wunderwaffe DG2. November 23rd, 1939. Maxis turns to the Reichstag for additional funding. Germany agrees to the request, expressing interest in their weapons research, teleportation technology, and the reanimated undead subjects. December 4th, 1939.
Log entry 38, date December 4, 1939. The matter transference prototype is prepared for test run number 151. We have now reduced our test subject's mass to prove that this is possible. Dr. Schuster, please give an overview.
Yes, Dr. Richtofen. We have the new test subject, a walnut, weighing in at 10 grams. The target platform is now at 3 feet with no obstructions. We have 1 microgram of the element, which, according to our calculations, will be entirely used up during tests.
Excellent, Dr. Schuster. Commence test number 151.
Yes, Doctor. Please, insert your earplugs.
Good God. We've done it!
We have powered up the prototype and have moved a walnut directly from the prototype device into the receiving device. It moved instantly. It
teleported. Get me Dr. Maxis immediately.
December 5th, 1939.
But this is not the crucial experiments that you are supposed to be working on.
With all due respect, Dr. Maxis, this is a breakthrough of unimaginable proportions.
What? That you moved a walnut a few feet? Yes, Edward. We will improve the human condition by revolutionizing the walnut industry. I can see it now. Edward's walnut delivery.
Don't be obtuse.
How dare you call me that? We are at war, Edward. I will admit that there is promise here. But until this war is won...
Correct me if I'm wrong, Dr. Maxis, but Group 935 is a research organization. What was the motto? To improve the human condition? What business of ours is this war?
Fine, Dr. Richtofen. I will let you in on a little administrative secret. We are finalizing a deal with the Nazi Party. We need funding. We need equipment. They need new weapons. Chances are this war will end soon with a treaty or two, and we will be in a much better position to help the world.
Are you certain this won't cause massive defections? We have scientists from all over the world working with us.
That is why it is with the utmost confidence that I share this with you. No one will know of this. This is simply the breaking of an egg to make an omelette.
Think of the tactical advantage we would have.
Think of the cost. Think of the time. We can provide the Nazis technical expertise in various areas without putting all our eggs in your walnut basket. Good day, Edward, and get back to your real work.
Bloody jerk.
I think Dr. Maxis has lost his perspective. No matter. We'll do this on our own and publish the findings before he has a chance to.
You're not suggesting that Dr. Maxis would steal this technology and perfect it without us, are you?
I would by no means discourage that thought. Great scientists must stick together and achieve great science.
January 4th, 1940.
Entry 42. Date, January 4, 1940. Dr. Schuster and I, despite mounting pressure from Dr. Maxis, have continued working on the matter transference prototype. We have made great strides in the last 30 days and are ready for our first human subject. If our calculations are correct, we will send a test subject, me, to the receptacle station sitting 30 yards away and behind a cinder block wall.
Are you certain you want to do this, Dr. Richtofen?
Nein, Dr. Schuster. But this must be done. Quickly, put in your earplugs and power up the machine. Is there a power outage? Why is it so dark? I feel almost weightless. How very unexpected. Dr. Schuster? Hello? There. I can see now. Oh my God. I'm standing in a circular cave, surrounded by some kind of machinery. It's like nothing I've ever seen before. It looks almost alien in nature. There's a pyramid structure in the center of the room. I'm going to try and carefully touch it. Ah! Static electricity. It's smooth to the touch. Very cold. Not a speck of dust. Might be hollow. The chamber is quite large. I see what looks like capacitors in the ceiling of the chamber, but there are no obvious connections to anything electrical. What is this place? Dr. Schuster? Is that you? Dr. Schuster? Look at this. It appears to be covered in some kind of hieroglyphic language. I've not seen anything like it before. Why are you whispering to me? There's no need for that. What's this loose? Do you hear that? It sounds like... My God! What happened? I seem to be in some kind of jungle. I can't be certain of where I am.
Richtofen encounters the Moon Pyramid device, or MPD, the ether pyramid hidden by the Apothecons. Upon touching the device, Richtofen is electrocuted and begins hearing the many voices of corruption, including that of the Shadow Man. Corrupted by the dark ether, Richtofen is gradually driven insane by an obsession to find Agartha. January 5th, 1940. Richtofen is worshipped by the natives of the mystical paradise, Shangri-La. It is here that he encounters the focusing stone for the first time. January 23rd, 1940.
Log entry 43. Date, January 23rd, 1940. I cannot be certain what happened to Dr. Richtofen once the test was commenced. He just disappeared from the machine into thin air. I have searched the area for days and have no evidence that he is anywhere. I am afraid I might have to scrap the...
Don't scrap anything. We've done something. Something wondrous. Shh! Do you hear them?
Dr. Richtofen, you're alive!
I'm more than alive, Mr. Schuster. Is the device still intact?
Yes, but what happened to you?
Something wunderbar. That chamber was incredible. The wonders we can learn.
What are you talking about? Are you all right?
Get in the matter transference prototype, Dr. Schuster. We have worked.
After a near month of absence, Richtofen returns to Schuster with a plan to build Griffin Station. January 24th, 1940. Richtofen renounces his involvement with the Illuminati. When asked how he could abandon his obligation to the Order, he says, "Teddy was a liar." March 13th, 1940. Construction of Griffin Station on the Moon begins. Frustrated with Maxis' alignment with Germany, other disgruntled Group 935 scientists join the cause. July 13th, 1940. Maxis instructs his assistant Sophia to write a letter to the Reichstag High Command requesting additional funding.
Sophia, this letter is to go to the Reichstag High Command immediately. Gentlemen, it is with the utmost urgency that I draw your attention to the lack of funding being injected into the giant project. While I believe we are close to realizing the ultimate plan, we still have several years of development before it is ready. It would be folly to cut our expenditures so early in our development. As you know, early tests on the DG2 have easily outperformed expectations, and we fully anticipate mass-producing the Wunderwaffe within the next few years. Work on the matter transference has, however, come to a standstill. We simply do not have enough Element 115 to continue the experiments. The test subjects have survived teleportation, but are currently unresponsive to commands and cannot be controlled. If we are to overcome this obstacle, we need to increase the frequency and size of the experiment. To this end, I suggest we find not only a regular supply of 115, but that we also find a larger conduit to channel the energy. Our operatives in America have informed us that the U.S. has a large supply of the element at the Nevada base. So time is of the essence if we are to stay ahead of them. This cannot be done if you cut the budget, nor can it be done if you insist on pressuring us into action before we are ready. I am, of course, available for discussion on the matter, but in the meantime, I will continue with the work here and try to win this damned war. Signed, etc., Dr. Maxis.
August 1st, 1940. In response to Maxis' request, Germany created two new facilities for Group 935. They are the Kino facility, a repurposed theatre, and the Asylum facility at the Wittenau Sanatorium in Berlin. August 18th, 1940. As per Germany's request, the Japanese Imperial Army hands over the Rising Sun facility to Group 935. Division 9 remains involved on site. October 3rd, 1940. Group 935 establishes a research facility in Siberia near the Tunguska River. November 6th, 1940. Group 935 establishes a research facility at Der Eisendrache, aka Eagle's Nest. June 24th, 1941. Nikolai Belinsky's wife is killed during the German advance into the Soviet Union. In an effort to numb the pain, Nikolai increasingly turns to vodka. January 11th, 1942. Maxis gives Fluffy to Samantha.
Now, you must be very diligent with her, Samantha. Owning a dog is a great responsibility.
Yes, Father. Oh, I love her.
You must feed her every day and walk her, and be very careful when you play with her. You know she's going to have puppies.
Really? Can I keep the puppies too, Father?
We'll see, Samantha. One step at a time.
January 20th, 1942. Maxis tests the first file for storage on the data servant. January 26th, 1942. On the data servant, Maxis catalogues locations with prominent element 115 deposits. He includes information about its various applications and cites that the reanimation of dead cells is a possible side effect. January 30th, 1942. Richthofen completes the Wunderwaffe DG2 prototype. February 1st, 1942.
Gentlemen, for 2 long years we have toiled here and at Eagle's Nest to build our fortifications. For 2 long years we have taken equipment to build up our labs. For 2 long years we have worked under Group 935, believing that Dr. Maxis truly wants to help the world. For 2 long years we've led a double life. Today, that all ends. I bring to you what this project is all about. What I have worked to keep from my enemy.
What is it, Dr. Richthofen? Looks alien.
It is an ancient vril machine. And you, Dr. Groff, are now the lead scientist here at Griffin Station. You will be the one to discover how it works.
We first must discover what it does.
9, Dr. Groff. I know what it does. It has a direct connection to another dimension.
It's preposterous.
No more preposterous than teleporting all of this gear to the moon and building Griffin Station, is it?
I suppose not. How do you know what it does?
I have found many interesting vril artifacts here. I have decoded some of their language. All signs point to this device being the stable gateway to the ether.
Dr. Richthofen, I'm aware of a project being run by Dr. Maxis at Doris concerning vril.
As am I. I am going back to my post at Group 935 to continue the charade. I will be finding out just how much information Dr. Maxis has on vril. Once the machine is operational, I will enact my plan and return. Gentlemen, let the games begin. Shh! This is so loud!
February 2nd, 1942.
Group 935 has defied all those who doubted our cause. Since the discovery of element 115, we have achieved so much. Our weapons program alone has advanced beyond even our wildest expectations. Furthermore, the fact that we have been able to establish a permanent base of operations on the moon itself leaves me filled with optimism for the future. We can literally do anything.
April 17th, 1942. Maxis develops the ray gun prototype at the Rising Sun facility. H. Porter works on developing the second generation model. May 15th, 1942. Richthofen provides an update on a Group 935 expedition to Africa.
Log entry 937, date May 15th, 1942. Dear Diary, our men have safely returned from Africa, where they recovered a number of artifacts buried underground, in some sort of subterranean cowboy village. Apparently it was American. That's right, an American cowboy western town, buried underground in Africa. Stupid American Schwein, with their apple pie and their baseballs, all thinking they can just waltz into another country and claim it as theirs. There is no art to their work. But I digress. The boys have returned with a number of fascinating articles and documents. They have pieces from a destroyed machine called the Pack-a-Punch. With a name as clever as that, it must be American. I have given the schematics to Dr. Porter. Perhaps he will have better luck replicating Jebediah Brown's work. Speaking of that blacksmith, we also recovered plans for the Agarthan device. It seems that the blacksmith already built one of the pieces, the fabled vril vessel. The Agarthan device, a device capable of granting that which one desires. Almost like a genie in a bottle. I think I shall keep this genie in my back pocket. If my plan fails, and it won't, perhaps this device can get me to Agatha.
June 13th, 1942. A result of a temporal rift created in the future, Monty reaches across time and offers, in his words, little nudges, one of which being the development of Group 935's Element 115 infused elixirs. They create 4 medicinal beverages known colloquially as Juggernog, Speed Cola, Quick Revive, and Double Tap. July 18th, 1942. Groff and Schuster unwittingly discover how to charge the MPD.
Log 1075. Dr. Schuster and I have spent countless hours with the pyramid device in an attempt to understand how it functions. We have made little progress until now. Today, we uncovered what looks to be some kind of tank with a glass-like front. The glass itself seems...
I've got you now, Rat.
Kill it, Schuster. Did you see that? Look, the capacitor is illuminated. The tank is filling.
The machine. It seems to be activated. What did you do?
I think we just discovered what powers this machine.
They report their findings to Richthofen. July 20th, 1942. Richthofen begins sending soldiers and scientists to the moon to be sacrificed, their souls used to charge the MPD.
Station, this is Eagle's Nest. Status update, over.
Hello, Doctor. We have the shipment and are carrying out your orders. Grim work, Doctor.
All in the name of science, Dr. Gruff. Continue until the tanks are full.
Yes, Doctor. May God have mercy on us all.
November 5th, 1942. Takeo Masaki is dispatched by the Emperor to oversee the work of Group 935 and Division 9 at the Rising Sun facility. December 8th, 1942. Richthofen shares the Element 115-based elixir recipes with Griffin Station. They develop Mule Kick. December 9th, 1942. Nikolai's brother is killed in the Battle of Stalingrad. December 14th, 1942. Richthofen creates the Monkey Bomb. December 16th, 1942. In a personal log, Maxis expresses concern over Element 115's impact on Richthofen's behavior. No longer trusting him, he wonders if it was a mistake to invite him to Group 935. December 20th, 1942. Accompanied by Sophia, Maxis is transferred to the Kino facility to focus on creating Germany's undead army. Samantha is left in Richthofen's care. January 8th, 1943. Maxis worries he and Sophia have grown too close. He considers sending her away. January 16th, 1943. Nikolai is captured by German forces during the Battle of Stalingrad. He becomes a subject in Group 935 experiments. January 27th, 1943.
Subject 26 has had a breakthrough. He is responding to the treatment and following basic instructions. The violent outbursts have been greatly reduced, and given time, we feel this method of treatment will be 100% effective in most cases.
February 10th, 1943.
Our timeline for deployment can be accelerated, given the progress we have made in the past 2 weeks. If patient 26 can retain the impressions longer than 26 hours, we will have the process perfect.
February 12th, 1943.
Another setback. Patient 26 was killed this morning in a field test. He lost control and attacked one of our handlers. His injuries were minor, but patient 26 was destroyed. The break-in programming coincided with the flashing lights and loud noises of the fire alarm in the test facility. One moment. What is it?
May 18th, 1943. Dr. Harvey Yener begins working for Group 935. June 15th, 1943. Takeo reports to the Emperor that the work being done at the Rising Sun facility is unacceptable. June 24th, 1943. On the orders of the Emperor, Takeo is taken prisoner by Group 935 and Division 9. He is used as a test subject for experiments. July 14th, 1944. After the setbacks with Subject 26, Maxis reports new success with the undead army. However, he maintains his belief that the undead cannot be controlled. September 2nd, 1944. Pablo Marinas, a Mexican spy, is captured by Group 935 at Dreisendrach. May 9th, 1945. Pablo writes of visions of a great war. He describes a great battle against strange demon-like creatures who are trying to devour the earth. In his vision, he sees 4 knights protect him from certain death. He makes a note that the knights wore tunics similar to those in Dreisendrach. June 4th, 1945. Nacht der Untoten. An Allied plane malfunctions over an airfield and crashes. German army trucks transporting the undead and Element 115 between Group 935 facilities are struck in the crash. The surviving Marines hold out against the undead for as long as they can. June 17th, 1945. An American spy called Peter McCain infiltrates Group 935 at Dries. July 15th, 1945. Richthofen travels to the Siberia facility to do further research on live specimens. As her temporary guardian, he takes Samantha with him. Group 935 begins transferring 3 test subjects for experimentation. They are Pablo, Takio, and Nikolai. July 18th, 1945.
Log entry 1438. Date July 18th, 1945. Dear Diary, I have been at Group 935's Siberian facility now for merely days, but mein cup already runneth over with exciting news. First, yesterday, I learned that I would receive not 1, not 2, but 3 test subjects. Hopefully with proper 115 injections, we will be able to use these specimens to access the human mind. The Chancellor's undead army is on standby until we crack this crucial step. And secondly...
Here he is, Richthofen.
Get your damn hands off me. Now what do we have here? A spy? If you know what's good for you, you'd let me go. Oh yes, yeah, I'm sure you worked with someone incredibly important. Honestly, you have no idea. How did you find my secret facility? Who are you? I'm a reporter. I was hired by a man, Mr. Rapt. I never met him. He asked me to find some goods for him. Things he wanted badly. Sounds thrilling. And what were these goods he wanted so badly? Look, I don't know the specifics. He just told me to travel to Russia. He gave me these coordinates, which led me here. How was I supposed to know it was a freaking German base? He gave some vague description of a strange metal object. This, I assume? Yeah, that'll be it. Called it the Seal of Duality. Whatever the hell that means. Well, the real vessel is not for sale. And is certainly not for stealing. But it is curious. I have only just arrived at this facility, bringing the real vessel with me, yet you somehow knew it would be here. How is this possible? How the hell am I supposed to know? I just go where the Shadow Man says to go. I don't know how he does it. Listen, if Mr. Rapt wants to find you, he's got his ways. Look, you want to go ahead and get this over with? If you're going to kill me, kill me. Not like it'll matter. It's kind of funny, you know? Something Mr. Rapt said. About if I failed him and died, it'd be okay. He said he'd reach out to me all over the multiverse, whatever that means. I didn't pay it no mind then, but maybe some other me is out there having a lot better luck than I am.
Sir, what should we do?
Take the strange, sad riddle man away. Find a hole.
July 29th, 1945. While Richthofen works at the Siberian facility, Group 935 begins development on Deadshot Daiquiri. August 1st, 1945. The test subjects arrive at the Siberian facility for Richthofen's experiments. August 28th, 1945.
Log entry 1469, date August 28th, 1945. Dear Diary, progress continues on unlocking the human mind. If Germany hopes to continue their war, they need an undead army willing to obey orders. There's also been further interest in the Super Soldat program. The German Chancellor considers this of high interest. We have begun the cloning process. We will have to see what results we yield. Test subject N3WB has been vomiting for 2 days straight. Our poor janitor. He has nightmares. Needless to say, we will no longer be serving fish. The Russian subject continues to be unresponsive. Dr. Yina suggested a serum made of vodka, but considering my concerns about his loyalty, I wonder if this is perhaps another attempt at sabotage. The specimen from Mexico continues to rant incoherently about giant monsters and some uber-fun war. Perhaps we were a little too eager with his 115 injections. I did not think he would go this crazy so quickly. If I'm being honest, I'm beginning to find this work a little drab and boring. Undead army, super soldat programs. Group 935's deal with Germany has truly limited the organization's potential. The appearance of the spy last month has inspired me to review the blacksmith's schematics. The Garthen device and its 3 components, the vril vessel, the apothecon blood, and the elemental shard. The instructions to creating the elemental shard have my interest piqued. 4 human souls merged with element 115. Not that I'm trying to brag, but this may be something in my wheelhouse.
August 31st, 1945. A CIA handler called Cornelius Purnell confirms that Peter McCain has successfully infiltrated Group 935 and has been transferred to the asylum facility. Cornelius suspects Group 935 is losing control of their experiments and has sent in a Marine recon unit to extract McCain. Tank Dempsey is to lead the squad. September 1st, 1945. Peter is outed as a spy and captured by Group 935. September 2nd, 1945.
Scalpel, please, Dr. Yee.
Scalpel, Dr. Richtofen. What exactly are you looking for, Dr. Richtofen?
We are attempting to locate an appropriate stimuli that will trigger the brain's involuntary willingness to obey command. There we are. Forceps, Dr. Yee, if you please.
Forceps, Dr. Richtofen. But the liver and kidneys, or the spleen?
Our goal is to unlock the barrier to the human mind. With element 115, it is important that we explore every possibility. The barrier may be where we least expect it. There we are. Retractors.
Retractors? It seems the Chancellor has been pushing us harder these last days. Is this because of the spy that was discovered at the asylum?
I do not know, Dr. Ina. Our German leader, along with Dr. Maxis, is so limited in his thinking. His goals are simple-minded, childish. Keeps pushing for his undead army when he could have the elemental shard.
The elemental shard?
A device capable of endless energy. We could use it to craft anything, including an Agarthan device of immense power. Hold this open while I grab the injector.
Agarthan device? Why haven't I heard about this?
Dr. Yina, do you have a firm grip? You are shaking.
I'm ready. Please, proceed.
Injecting serum in 3, 2, 1. Hold it open. The injection is nearly complete.
I can't hold this grip.
Well, I guess the barrier isn't in his spleen. Nincompoop! You did this. I knew it. You let go on purpose.
Richtofen, it was an accident. My hand slipped.
Don't cough.
Richtofen reports on the test subjects.
Log entry 1471. Date, September 2nd, 1945. Dying. Another day, another failure. This time, subject N3WB just blankly at the floor. The Russian subject still smells like urine, even after he was given a bath and deloused twice. And I think I might have killed the specimen from Mexico. His spleen is on the floor, and he's not moving anymore. I can verify with certainty, however, that the barrier is not located in the spleen. Dr. Continue no matter the cost. I wonder what he might think of the experiment with the little girl. Nice! Drop that! That's my sleep!
The body of Pablo Marinas is dumped into the surrounding water of the facility. September 3rd, 1945. An outbreak occurs at the asylum facility. Peter McCain escapes. September 6th, 1945. Verrucht. Tank Dempsey, John Banana, Paxton Ridge, and Smokey arrive at the asylum facility to find it overrun by zombies. They fight off the horde for as long as they can. Dempsey is apprehended by Group 935. September 7th, 1945. John Banana writes messages and records his last words.
Field report. A quiet retort. The mission has all gone south. It's Johnny here. Smokey is near, most likely with meat in his mouth. We've been here for ages. I ran out of pages, but now have a mic to record. The mission has failed. McCain must have bailed, and now we must fight off the horde. We came to Farouk with low ammo and luck, and now Smokey's lost his head. We went down the halls, they bit Smokey's balls, and now he walks with the dead. They call me Banana, I worked at a cabana. I rhyme to keep myself sane. Though Smokey is dead, I'm holding his head, which right now is eating my brain.
September 10th, 1945.
Log entry 1472. Date, September 10th, 1945. Dear Diary, today was a good day. The swelling has subsided. The ice helps. They made liverwurst for lunch. It was... I still have not had any luck reprogramming any of the live specimens. Dr. The key to unlocking the human mind will be more easily discovered on someone who isn't dead yet. I am not convinced. The army is stored until I can break this trust barrier. Oh, apparently someone in security found a spy in the group. They are delivering him from place the one that I broke.
September 13th, 1945. Cornelius Purnell attempts to send a transmission to Peter McCain.
I hope you're receiving this transmission, Peter. If you are not, then all is already lost. You must know by now that we failed to contain the asylum, and that we had to move the experiment here. Application. The numbers will guide you. The giant must remain at all costs. Repeat, Der Reese must remain safe at all costs. The DG2 experiments continue. Might be our only advantage now. Find Dr. Dr. Max's. Only they may know what's going on. The use of 115 is dangerous at best. I'm not sure how long we can continue here. We've lost most of our best people. I hope you get this. I hope it hasn't happened there too. But I'm almost out of hope.
September 17th, 1945. Dempsey arrives at the Siberian facility.
Log entry 1473. Date, September 17th, 1945. Diary. Today...
Hands off me, you damn dirty Nazi.
Uh-oh. This doesn't look good.
That's right. You want some of this? I'm taking you home in fags. Freak.
Nine. I don't think so, American.
Okay, now.
I suppose this must be the replacement specimen. Time to get to work.
I can still hear you.
Hit him again with the stick!
September 20th, 1945.
Log entry 1474. Date, September 20th, 1945. Dear Diary, it would seem that the OSS realized that we captured one of their spies. They tried to send a rescue team into Beirut. That was all first batch of test subjects. I suspect there are other moles in the organization. Dr. Harvey Ena and Dr. Peter McKay, to be precise. Dr. McKay include any Americans in Group 935, no matter how much genius they held. Stupid Americans with their apple pies and baseball and children. But I digress. The new American test subject is interesting and muscle. His intellect seems low, but his will is strong. Like the others, he doesn't seem to know who he is anymore. Unlike the others, he keeps breaking the restraints and yelling at me.
Test subject N3WB is still staring at the floor, muttering what sounds like some kind of proverb over and over again. I think his mind may have been destroyed by the process. Oh well. The Russian subject recently began responding to stimuli, but only after injecting him with a new serum made primarily from vodka. Perhaps this is a breakthrough we've been waiting
for. Perhaps I was too harsh on Dr. Yina. It was he, after all, who suggested the vodka serum. Credit where credit is due. Today also marks a great success for one of my side projects. Using a process rock of element 115 and the real vessel, I was able to successfully siphon a piece of the souls from our 3 specimens and inject them into the rock. Without access to a 4th individual, I used part of my own essence. Much to my surprise, the rock grew and transformed, creating a beautiful shard of glass made purely from element 115 and parts from 4 human souls. The real vessel, the elemental shard. All we need now is the apothecon blood, and the Agarthan device shall be complete. End log entry 1474. Or should I say 1474? Doesn't matter.
Richtofen didn't know it, but the act of using the 4 souls he did had serious consequences for not just his universe, but all universes. It ensured that every version of himself, Dempsey, Nikolai, and Takio would each become the most significant characters in the whole multiverse. No more than a few days later.
You cannot do this. You have no authority.
You've left me no choice, Dr. Richtofen. You used 935 resources to work on personal projects. You've been threatening the employees, myself included, and you're clearly suffering from excessive 115-induced delusions.
Suffering from excessive 115-induced delusions? How dare you accuse me of such vile lies!
Dr. Maxis has ordered the elemental shard to be sent to Division 9, where they are better equipped to study it appropriately. You are to cease experimentation on the test subjects and put them on ice. You are to return with them to Der Riese and meet with Dr. Maxis. He would like to discuss your dedication to the cause.
Mine? Dedication? All of my projects, my programs. You think I'm not dedicated? You have taken everything from me. Oh, well, I still have the DG2 in active development. I suppose that's something.
Actually, no. I'm afraid Dr. Maxis has cancelled its mass production as well.
Scheiße! This is all you're doing. You are intentionally sowing discontent. You are trying to destroy us from within. You're working for the Americans, aren't you? You're a spy. Just like Dr. Peter McCain, Dr. Maxis would never have hired Americans, no matter how much genius they have.
No, Dr. Richtofen, that's your paranoia talking. You've been exposed to element 115 for too long. I'm just a loyal servant to Group 935 trying to protect its interests. Now, if you have any issues, I suggest bringing them up with Dr. Maxis.
Oh, don't you worry, little lying apple pie brain, Herr Yina. I intend to bring up a great many things with Dr. Maxis.
September 27th, 1945. Richtofen returns to Der Riese with Dempsey, Nikolai, Takio, and Samantha. October 1st, 1945. Maxis reports on Richtofen's findings with his live test subjects, noting that while their baseline psyche remains intact, all specific memories have been lost. The same day, Richtofen confirms his plan to eliminate Maxis.
Log entry 1475, date October 1st, 1945. Died. As for the control group tests, they have been put on hold. Recently, I discovered that Dr. Maxis does not plan mass producing the DG2 as he swore he would. If he won't move those plans forward, then I will continue following his dream of an undead army. He doesn't deserve his perch of power. He doesn't know what to do with it. But I know just what to do with him. And I'll take care of that little brat if I get the chance to.
October 8th, 1945. Groff reports to Richtofen the MPD is nearly ready. October 10th, 1945.
October 10th, 19...
You've done what, Dr. Richtofen?
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you not see the microphone in my hand? Recording for posterity is important. Ahem. October 10th, 1945.
You've made a deal with the Americans?
And the Russians. You can't forget them.
But our work, this war...
The war is over, Dr. Schuster. It is my responsibility to ensure the work of Group 935 continues.
But these deals... It would mean the end of Group 935. The Americans and the Russians would tear us apart. Everything we stood for...
Everything this organization stood for died the day Dr. Maxis made that infernal deal with the Reichstag. You and I both know this to be true. Listen to me and understand. Our technological developments with 115 are the envy of the entire world. These agreements guarantee our work will continue in America and Russia, and that they will continue with our scientists at the helm. I am sorry, but for our work to live on, Group 935 must come to an end. Oh, cheer up, Dr. Schuster. I have asked that you go to the Americans. It will be good for your softer side.
You will not go to America?
Nor to Russia. Once Dr. Groff confirms that the MPD is ready, we will proceed with Operation Shield as planned. And then, I have a date with destiny.
What are you getting out of this deal, Dr. Richtofen?
A feeling of fulfillment that I've saved my fellow scientists from the unemployment line and possibly prison.
Edward, please.
Don't you worry about me, Dr. Schuster. I will be well taken care of.
October 12th, 1945.
Eagle's Nest, this is Griffin Station. We have an update. Over.
Dr. Groff, have you made any progress?
Yes, Doctor. The machine is ready and awaiting the conduit.
Very good. I will proceed with Operation Shield and join you shortly.
Security Protocol 935.
Yes. I will dispose of Dr. Maxis and that little brat personally. Do not touch anything.
October 13th, 1945. Though frustrated that the matter transference tests have been largely unsuccessful, Maxis acknowledges that the test subjects' departure from their point of origin is undeniable. However, Richtofen's suggestion that the subjects have been transported not through space, but time itself, causes Maxis to worry if his irrationality may soon prove to be a liability to Group 935's endeavours. Despite his misgivings, Maxis continues the matter transference tests alongside Richtofen.
Initiating test number 3. Subject is within the test chamber. Activate power. Oh my God. Do you hold yourself and clean that up? Test number 3. Unsuccessful. Test subject has been reduced to the same state as previous subjects. Clean up the test chamber and recalibrate the system. Let's do it again. Yes, Doctor. Edward, tie the damn thing down. We can't have it running around during the test. It's tied down now, Dr. Maxis. Initiating test number 5. Subject is within the test chamber. Activate power. Searching for vitals. No reading, Doctor. The subject has disappeared. Dr. Maxis, we've done it. Don't be foolish! Test number 5 is unsuccessful. Subject has vanished, yes, but has not reappeared at the mainframe. Recalibrate the damn system, now! Initiating test number 6. Subject is within test chamber. Activate power. Damn it, Edward! Did you set up the device correctly?
Yes, Doctor. As per your specifications.
If you had done it to my specifications, then it would have worked, wouldn't it? As usual, your incompetence has...
What? Do you hear that, Doctor?
Quiet, you fool! Test number 6 is a failure, but the experiment has caused some kind of electrical fault energized within the chamber. Well, open the door!
Doctor, I don't think...
Open the door, now!
Daddy? What are you doing with Flossie?
Damn it, Samantha, I told you never to come in here. Edward, get her out of here.
Yes, Doctor.
What's wrong with her? Daddy, what did you do? Flossie!
Come back here, Samantha! Stop her! Easy. Come here, Samantha. Good girl, Flossie. Gently, Samantha. That's not Flossie anymore. We must get out of here. What? Edward, what are you doing? Open the door! Edward, open this door now!
I'm scared.
Don't do! Stay by me, Samantha!
Goodbye, Dr. Maxis.
Mr. Schuster, report.
The tanks are full and the shields are down. The machine is humming nicely.
Good. And what of the shipment?
Most are buried outside of the base. The live ones we've sent back to Kustova Poston.
Excellent. There's nothing left but to wait for Dr. Richtofer's return.
Perhaps this is a good time to work on my low-gravity putting in the biodome.
Yes, a little leisure time.
Intruder detected. Receiving bay. This is not a
Security, report.
This is not
What? Can you repeat?
She's coming right toward them.
Get her! Get back here! Nay, do not let her! Damn it! Dr. Schuster, find a way to get her out of the pyramid. I will contact Edward and let him know there has been an incident.
How did she end up there? No matter. I know what must be done. In the meantime, see if you can find Dr. Maxis. Perhaps he can talk some sense into her.
Did you not deal with him already?
Yes, but if the child ended up there, then Maxis must be somewhere too. Find him.
How do you propose?
Dr. Groth, I cannot do everything for you. I leave this in your capable hands. There is much to be done.
Yes, Doctor.
Oh, and Groth?
Yes.
I keep an eye out for an evil-looking dog while you're at it.
I hope this works. Schuster, power it up.
Systems nominal. Accessing the device. Interface via MTD active. Accessing MTD. MTD integrity check nominal. Awaiting input.
Excellent. Bring the sample.
Analyzing MTD. Creating profile. Profile created.
Excellent. Now, scan for target.
Yes, Doctor.
Target located.
Bring him here. Immediately.
Greetings, Dr. Maxis.
Schuster, I should have known. Where is that rat Edvard? Where are we? And how did you get me out of that wretched
None of that is important right now. Allow me to fill you in.
Samantha, honey, Daddy is here. Come, dear, please. Open the machine. Daddy will not let them hurt you anymore. Honey, Daddy knows he's made some mistakes. I am truly sorry that you were put through so much. When your mother died, I could not bear the thought of losing you, too. That's why I kept you so close. I did not mean to neglect you. I just wanted to know you were safe from harm.
Daddy!
I love you, Samantha.
I love you too, Daddy.
Can you do something for me? Something very important.
Yes.
Kill them all. No! We are doomed.
Before being teleported to Griffin Station, Max has found himself in another dimension that an alternate Group 935 had discovered and named the Crazy Place. In this realm, he gained the ability to merge with electronics. It was for this reason that he was willing to kill himself, knowing he would live on in the station's computer system. October 14th, 1945. H. Porter activates the alarm as an outbreak occurs at Doris.
But I'm all out of hope. Auf Wiedersehen, my friend.
Warning, the shield is now active.
Damn it! I can't find my pills.
Materials and report to the barracks.
They are coming. I must do what I must do. God forgive us all.
To destroy our designated materials and report to the barracks. This is not a drill. Warning, the shield is now active. To destroy our designated materials and report to the barracks. This is not a drill. Warning, the shield is now active. Scientists are to destroy our designated materials and report to the barracks. This is not a drill. Warning, the shield is now active. To destroy our designated materials and report to the barracks.
Richtofen awakens Dempsey, Takeo, and Nikolai. With no recollection of who they are or who Richtofen is, they agree to help him. The four would become known as Ultimus. October 18th, 1945. Peter McCain parachutes over the Rising Sun facility. He dies shortly after. October 21st, 1945. Shino Numa. Ultimus travels to the Rising Sun facility to recover Richtofen's diary. Upon reading it, Richtofen begins to form his plan to defeat Samantha. October 28th, 1945. Doris. Ultimus returns to Doris. With his diary, Richtofen plans to use the teleporter to return to the moon and confront Samantha. Unfortunately, the Wunderwaffe DG-2 overloads the teleporter and sends them through time, causing Richtofen to drop his diary. November 5th, 1945. Group 935 is disbanded. January 19th, 1946. The United States and the Soviet Union share the resources recovered from Group 935's various research stations. Richtofen's diary is among the items recovered by the Soviet Union. January 20th, 1946. The Pentagon hires many former Group 935 scientists in an effort to replicate their work.
Major George Sawyer, personal log, January 20th, 1946. After speaking with Major Staver this morning, I can confirm Operation Stapler has been a resounding success. While our officers met with the Soviet representatives to negotiate the fair split of Group 935's research, our operatives quietly extracted 40 of its scientists and their families. In the coming days, they're to be officially hired as War Department special employees. To our knowledge, the Soviets have yet to realize what we've done. Since the discovery of the depository near Groom Lake in '37, our progress has been minimal. Our hope is that these scientists will provide us the edge we desperately need for our Element 115 research program. All of this would not have been possible without the help of one Dr. Edward Richtofen. When he reached out to us last August, he promised unfettered access to Group 935's research in exchange for providing safe harbor for its scientists. While we may not have secured all the research, we did get the scientists, the brain trust. If we do ever locate Dr. Richtofen, I would like to shake his hand and thank him personally for the great service he has provided to the United States of America.
Around this time, the United States acquired many resources from Division 9, including the elemental shard which is placed in storage at Groom Lake. January 29th, 1946. As with their US counterparts, the Soviets hire many former Group 935 scientists. Among them is Harvey Yena, who forms the Ascension Group. February 5th, 1947. Pablo survived Richtofen's experiments.
Day 521. I still don't know how it is possible, but late last year I awoke from a watery grave. When I swam to the surface, I found the German military base abandoned. Only the undead remained on their shores. I attempted to flee, but the fog, it seemed no sooner that the shore faded behind me, it reappeared in front of me. Every attempt I made to escape, it led me right back here. As if I was meant to be here. I have begun broadcasting a radio signal.
I'm hoping that someone will answer and come to my rescue. But if no one comes, I'm not sure how much longer I will survive this place.
June 27th, 1947.
This is Dr. Schuster. Personal log, June 27th, 1947. With the help of Major Sawyer and Operation Stapler, I began employment at the Pentagon. I'm assigned to their 115 division, which focuses on R&D of the element. While I am grateful for this opportunity, I have my reservations. Element 115 is a resource with potentially infinite applications. Yet the only thing these scientists and the Pentagon seem concerned with are our undead experiments. I made it clear to them that my own work with Group 935 was primarily focused on its teleportation technologies. If they wanted my help with that, I would gladly oblige, but the idea of resuming undead experimentation horrified me. The room went silent. Clearly, they were not satisfied with my answer. Finally, Major Sawyer asked why. I was blunt, perhaps too blunt, and told them what happened at Griffin Station, about Maxis's daughter Samantha, about the MPD, about the undead outbreak, about everything. If we resumed experimentation, there was no guarantee she wouldn't take control of them just as she had done the others. More importantly, there was no guarantee she wouldn't kill us all, as her father instructed her. I told them all this, and do you know what happened? They laughed.
July 29th, 1952. The Pentagon begins experiments involving their own versions of the undead. May 12th, 1955. The US government transfers a number of Element 115 experiments to the Groom Lake facility. October 2nd, 1955.
Day 3682, I think. Last night, I had a dream. A dream I have not had in many years. Like the ones I used to have at the Eisendrache. I dreamed I was in medieval times, during a great war, a war to end all wars. In this dream, I am attacked by one of the great beasts. It holds me within its grasp, about to end my life, when I am saved, spared by a man in cloth, not a priest, someone more powerful. He wields a staff of fire. I see 4 heroes stand atop of a mound. The 4 raise their staffs in unison, and suddenly the knights know the war is not lost. I rejoin the fight, and fight alongside my king. For years I had dreamed of this war. I wonder, perhaps the Germans' experiments warped my brain, my sense of space and time. He thought I died, but it was only that my mind had transformed. I have been here 10 years. No one has responded to my radio message. Is there no one out there? Am I even on Earth? Or am I caught somewhere in between? Every time I try to escape, my raft always brings me back. This place is my prison. But is it a prison? Perhaps it is more like a waiting room, a purgatory of sorts. Perhaps my dreams are much more. Perhaps they are visions of what is to come. And perhaps it is here I must wait for what is to come. They will come for me.
October 19th, 1955. Anton Gersh and Yuri Zavoysky begin working for the Ascension Group. April 25th, 1956. Explorers Brock and Gary discover Shangri-La. During an eclipse, they are unwittingly trapped in a time loop. Various dates during 1958. Gersh and Yina discover Pablo's transmission.
We have verified authenticity of this transmission, yes?
Yes, Anton. A recon unit traveled to the old facility. Apparently, a survivor has been living there since the end of the war.
Since the end of the war? 13 years? How can this be true? And how did we not know about this?
Unfortunately, your guess is as good as mine.
And his proposal, this Garthen device, what do you make of this?
Personally, it sounds too good to be true. But this isn't the first I've heard of it. Dr. Richtofen had mentioned it as well.
Just think, Harvey. A device capable of granting that which any man desires. I simply think it and bang. It is reality. We could beat Americans to Group 935 lunar facility. We could become leaders of free world overnight.
The potential, it is certainly infinite.
So, he says he will construct a device, but first he needs us to find something.
He says we must bring him the blood of an ancient creature. He gave us the coordinates. It's at the bottom of the ocean. Recovery will not be cheap.
Well, we do not need the creature, only its blood. Harvey, do not worry. The reward will pay cost tenfold. This is how the Ascension Group leads charge into New World.
I understand. And there was one more thing. He warned us to bring him the blood straight away. When exposed to the elements for extended amounts of time, it becomes volatile and unstable. He warned us the blood is alive.
Let us worry about collecting it first. We will decide the next move after this, Dr. Ina.
Of course, Dr. Gersh.
I trust your trip was a success.
Like you wouldn't believe, Anton, what we found down there. The creature was magnificent, gargantuan in size. It was otherworldly, a remnant of a different age. Oh, I wish you could have seen it.
It was at the coordinates provided.
Yes, 43 north, 180 east. The blood has a fluidity to it that I find fascinating. We would have investigated further, but we intercepted a transmission that the Americans were in the area. Somehow they'd been informed about the creature's location.
Ah, these damn leaks. They will be our undoing.
It seems every step we take, the Americans follow suit.
Mark my words. There is a mole in Ascension, Harvey. We must strike it out before it destroys us. Get a team together. People we trust. If we are to study the blood, we must make sure the Americans do not find out.
To study it? Anton, I think we should follow the plan and deliver the blood to the Siberian facility.
Yet, Harvey. We cannot. This struggle with the Americans, we cannot let them get the advantage. This blood is our only leverage. After the war and Group 935 disbanded, you came to us. You came to me. You saw a better vision for the future here than what your America was offering. We created Ascension on the principle of being better men, of making this world a better place. If this blood is key to unlocking the future, we would be fools to not take this opportunity.
Perhaps you are right. At the very least, we can study it. What's the harm in that?
How are the experiments coming, Dr. Ina?
Fascinating, Anton. Truly fascinating. The blood, it's not so much fluid as it is very much alive. It moves, it changes shape at will, reacts to our touch.
Alive? How is this possible?
I'm not sure. One theory is perhaps the creature itself was more of a vessel, and that its blood is made up of 1,000,000 different organisms that control it, like a crew piloting a ship. The creature died, but the organisms inside survived, trapped at the bottom of the ocean.
Is it sentient? How is it able to move?
The blood uses negative space, which exists between the molecules. This negative space provides an influx of energy, which we believe fuels the blood, giving it the ability to move.
Do you still believe this blood is suitable for our primates? For rocket testing?
Absolutely. The blood gives them rejuvenation abilities, making them more powerful, stronger. If a monkey is on the brink of death and given an injection, it makes a full recovery in a matter of minutes. The only trade-off is they become more angry, hostile, even violent in some cases.
Is this a problem?
It's manageable. But I'm confident monkeys given an injection of this blood will survive spaceflight.
Wonderful news. I think we can move on to the next phase of the program. We should prepare a serum for mass production. Can you tell me more about this negative space?
We really don't know much about it, except that it does not exist in this dimension. Maybe a gateway from another. One of our men has theorized it might even be a black hole of sorts.
Send what research you've done to myself and our weapons team. Be sure Yuri Zavoysky is included in the brief.
Of course, but I will remind you we need to be careful. We've noticed the blood has been changing composition, as if reacting to all our probing and prodding.
Reacting? How so?
I'm not sure how to explain it, but it feels like the blood's getting angry.
June 3rd, 1959. The Pentagon construct their own prototype teleporter and commence experimentation.
I'm just a little confused, Dr. Schuster. You've already successfully established a teleporter link between the Pentagon and Groom Lake.
The Pentagon to Groom Lake is child's play, a distance of 3,890 kilometers. What we're talking about now is a distance of 380,000 kilometers.
But it can be done.
Of course, Colonel Sawyer, but I had 2 years to perfect the link to Groom Lake. The timetable you've given me to establish a link to the moon is far more aggressive.
Do I need to remind you what we're up against? Dr. Richtofen told us about Griffin Station back in '45. From what we've discovered, he told the Soviets the same thing. The Soviets achieved teleportation 2 years before we did. If they get to the moon first, they get to claim Griffin Station.
Yes, I know all about your adorable space race. But need I remind you that if this teleporter becomes operational, even a single mathematical error could lead to catastrophic results? Yes, it will take you to the moon. I have little worry over where it will take you. I worry about when.
What? Time travel? Give me a break.
Precisely. If the specifications are not exact, we could create temporal rifts with ripple effects that will undo the very fabric of space-time itself. Simply put, don't rush. Science moves at its own pace.
Just get it done, Doctor. You have 2 weeks before we begin testing.
March 11th, 1961.
This is Groom Lake Station Chief Cornelius Purnell. Personal log, March 11th, 1961. After being unable to get McElroy or Gates to see the light, I hoped my meeting with McNamara would fare better, but I had no such luck. For years now, DoD have run experiments with their 115 division, but we're the ones with all the supply. I told McNamara we have the Fort Knox of Element 115 right next to our nuclear testing site. If we combined resources and worked together instead of simply bartering resources, Groom Lake could receive the funding to properly mine the materials and expand experimentation. But no, McNamara was uninterested. Another Secretary of Defense, another bust for Project Broken Arrow.
March 15th, 1962. Studying Group 935's medicinal elixir research, the Ascension Group develops PhD Flopper and Stamina-Up. November 11th, 1962. Gersh begins work on Project Thunder. December 12th, 1962. Gersh and Yuri begin work on the Gersh device, codenamed Project Mercury. February 23rd, 1963.
Personal log, February 23rd, 1963. With construction of the moon teleporter ongoing, a number of scientists from the Pentagon's 115 division have been stationed on site here at Groom Lake. Dr. Schuster, head of the operation, continues to be full of surprises. He's been telling me these stories about an evil little girl named Samantha, that she can control the undead. I asked Colonel Sawyer about it, and he told me to pay it no mind. Apparently everybody's been laughing off Schuster's stories for years now. But then, yesterday, Schuster says he has proof. He claims this Samantha is responsible for several outbreaks over the last 20 years. He rattles off a bunch of names, and one of them was the Rising Sun facility. I lost a good man there, Peter McCain, and never got an explanation for it. I've decided to investigate this further.
July 29th, 1963.
Personal log, July 29th, 1963. I've spent the last several months combing through archives and conducting extensive research. And I can't believe what I'm about to say, but this is real. This girl, creature, entity, this being possesses a very real and very dangerous power. Fortunately, as of now, her attacks have been contained. And if she were to choose to unleash fury, she could wipe us off the map. And not just the United States, she could destroy everyone. But there is an opportunity here. To combat this threat, the Pentagon's going to need to significantly increase their 115 operation. To support that, they'll need greater access to our gold mine at Groom Lake. Project Broken Arrow is the key to all of this. 2 birds, 1 stone. We'll combat a threat to national security, and I'll secure the funding for my program and its operations. I'm drafting a report on the incidents. I plan to present it to McNamara in the coming weeks.
September 3rd, 1963.
Personal log, September 3rd, 1963. The discussion with McNamara was a resounding success. And his plans for it are bigger than I ever thought possible. The fools. It was so easy. All those hawks over there think about is war. I offered them a morsel, a nugget, and had the meeting out of the palm of my hand. Yeah, well, good riddance. They'll get their war, and I'll get my riches. They want to destroy this Samantha? That's so narrow-minded. Why destroy her when we can take her power and harness it for ourselves? With the amount of element 115 buried down there, just imagine what we could do. We could mold the earth anew, create it in our image. A toast. Here's to Dr. Schuster for gifting me this opportunity. When we get the excavator up and running at the test site, I'll be sure to get him access. And here's to Broken Arrow. And to opening new worlds.
October 28th, 1963. Kino der Toten. From Doris, Ultimus teleports to Kino. This marks the first time Ultimus travels across space and time. The temporal rifts created by this event are what allow Monty to make changes across time, including the previously mentioned perk machines. Ultimus locate a lunar lander and fly to the Ascension facility. October 29th, 1963. Gersh informs the senior staff that Yuri has been removed from Project Mercury and has been transferred to rocket research.
Convey my sincere gratitude to you for that. But on to business. I am pleased to report that all projects are running smoothly again after recent personnel changes. As I had previously mentioned, Yuri Zavoysky is a brilliant scientist, but he has so far proven incapable of handling Project Mercury, or as you call it, the Gersh device. Due to numerous delays and setbacks, I have sadly been forced to transfer Yuri to the 8K64-A experiments. I have decided that your nephew should take his place, and look forward to working with him directly. Yuri's incident with the Casimir mechanism leaves no doubt in my mind that this is the right decision. The explosion caused the mechanism significant damage. It will take time to remanufacture all of the parts, unless some of them can be salvaged.
Rockets. He transfers me to work on rockets. These experiments require no finesse, no imagination. My intellect is ill-served blasting a bunch of monkeys into the atmosphere. But I can't fight Gersh over this. I was able to hold on to my keys. Some after-hours research. No one else really understands what Project Mercury is capable of. Until then, this lab will have to do. Wait. Zelemetroisto. Is someone with a child?
November 1st, 1963. Upon reading Richthofen's diary, Yuri begins to hear Samantha's voice.
Found the box today. Some Rebenka left his teddy bear in it. A disgusting and filthy toy. Who keeps bringing their child onto this base? Thank God they did not take the diary. The things I've learned about Element 1. I'll have to conduct this research on my own, away from the destructive hands of Gersh. His research into Project Mercury has stalled, but will he be transferred? I doubt it. As long as Project remains on track, his friends I must start small.
Samantha instructs Yuri to resume work on the Gersh device. He obeys.
This laughter in my head. Always in my head. I can't find her. I can't. Oh, I can't stop it. Keep it out. Why won't she leave me alone? Calm down, Yuri. Calm down. No, I won't. Shut up. You stop. Fine. Okay. I will.
November 4th, 1963. Gersh announces to the committee that Project Thunder is nearing completion.
I assure you that our craft will be far superior to whatever the Americans, or should I say, Canadians, are developing. Finally, Project Thunder is nearing completion. My staff has assured me that the remaining issues of the effective range and power cell size will be solved within the next few months. Oh, and also, you should know that Dr. Zavoyski does not appear to be adjusting to his new position. He has been hostile towards the other scientists, at least more than usual, and has frequently been seen muttering to himself. The transition must have been hard for him, but if he does not learn his place soon, I may require another, more competent scientist to replace him.
Around this time, a zombie outbreak occurs at the Pentagon. Secretary of Defense Robert McNamara comments on the recent events.
Washington's words have lingered with me these last few days. To be prepared for war is one of the most effective means of preserving peace. Mankind has always prepared for war because we face an enemy we know intimately, our fellow man. In a way, we are the only enemy we have ever truly known. But now, I sit here with the Groom Lake report in my hand and I contemplate an enemy beyond our comprehension. An entity with the powers of a god that can manipulate time, space, and the very nature of other beings. The evidence is clear. A trail of carnage can be tracked. October 21st, 1945, the Rising Sun Research Facility. October 28th, 1945, Group 935's Der Riese facility. April 25th, 1956, the Himalayas. Now, I am no stranger to undead experimentation, nor their outbreaks. I've read Purnell's reports on the airfield and asylum incidents. The undead may be a concern, but they are not the threat. Without a leader, they are mindless and uncoordinated. But the idea of a being that commands an undead army with seemingly unlimited resources, that gives them marching orders to strike at any time and any place, how do you prepare for war with that? How do you protect America? How do you protect the planet? One of the scientists we acquired from Group 935, Dr. Schuster, I believe is his name, claims to be familiar with the entity. He says her name is Samantha. This Samantha may be the greatest threat our nation has ever faced. Certainly more than that from the Soviet Union or Cuba, for they are just men. And my contacts on the ground now confirm it. On October 28th, the entity known as Samantha attacked an abandoned theater in Berlin. This marks her first attack in 9 years. The location she chose is interesting. In 1940, the German High Command repurposed it as a Group 935 facility. That makes this the third Group 935 operation that Samantha has targeted. The Berlin incident has forced us to reevaluate the recent Pentagon outbreak. We had previously assumed it was a contained affair, but must now acknowledge the possibility that Samantha played a role. I've made arrangements for the President and Castro to discuss the Broken Arrow initiative. If Samantha poses as great a threat as it seems, we must put aside our differences. No nation alone can defeat her. An alliance must be formed. We must reach across the metaphorical aisle. The meeting will be held here at the Pentagon in the coming days. Dick will be joining us for some reason. Jack requested he attend. Regretfully, I am forced to admit that Purnell was perhaps correct. If we use the Broken Arrow initiative to harness the power of this Element 115, we could build a better world and be prepared for war with Samantha. I've given Roebuck the coordinates of the Berlin incident for safekeeping. He'll log them, along with all the others.
November 5th, 1963. Gersh confronts Yuri.
This had better be good, Yuri. The fact that you are even in this lab again is reason enough to have you permanently removed. If you've done anything that will ruin Ned's inspection, do not worry. You will not be disappointed. In fact, I'm sure you won't forget it. But I can't take all the credits. If you will do me the honors. What the? You fat pig! Enjoy your trip! Oh no. No! No, 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 no! No, 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 no! What have I done? What have I done?
Yuri tricks Gersh into activating the Gersh device. The rift created absorbs him and allows Samantha to travel through. Yuri is also absorbed and transported to the Pentagon. November 6th, 1963. Ascension. Ultimus arrives at the Soviet Cosmodrome and frees Gersh from the Casimir mechanism. Richtofen recovers his diary and learns that they need the Vril device from the Siberian facility for his plan. Maintaining his ethereal form, Gersh sends him into a rift to their next destination before beginning his travels across space and time. 5. In the Pentagon, John F. Kennedy, Richard Nixon, and Robert McNamara meet with Fidel Castro to discuss the possibility of an alliance against Samantha. Due to the events at the Cosmodrome, a zombie outbreak occurs. Samantha sends Yuri to the Pentagon to thwart their survival. After Gersh is freed and Ultimus departs from the Cosmodrome, the outbreak ends at the Pentagon. All 4 survive. November 8th, 1963.
Comrades, that is enough! Now, as it stands, we must account for the facts. 2 days ago, one of our research facilities was attacked. All personnel are dead, with the exception of Dr. Gersh and Dr. Zavoysky, who are both still missing.
What about 4 intruders?
We do not know. They have not been recovered. Now, I know what Dr. Gersh and his work meant to this organization. However, all is not lost. We must remember that.
All is not lost? We have no leader. Who is going to lead us now? You? An American?
Yet, I'd remind you to think before you speak, comrade. I am one of the founding members of this organization, and you are someone who has forgotten their place in it. I am not saying I should lead it. Frankly, I would rather not. I would leave it to the committee to find a suitable replacement. However, with Americans, Broken Arrow grows stronger by the day. And we must act quickly if we are to stay ahead of them.
What is it you are proposing?
Some of you may remember 4 years ago, a contact at an abandoned Group 935 facility reached out to us. He promised to construct the Agarthan device for us, provided we brought him the blood of the beast. We never brought him the blood. Instead, we used it to fulfill our own needs. I propose I take a small crew and deliver the blood, as promised, to our ally in Siberia. With the Agarthan device in Soviet hands, we will not only end this Cold War overnight, we will bring humanity together and create a better world.
November 19th, 1963. In the wake of a second outbreak at the Pentagon, Broken Arrow is fully funded, establishing several sites across the country. Their headquarters is set up in Washington State and is dubbed the Hanford site. The Groom Lake program is officially folded into Broken Arrow, as well as a nuclear testing site known as Camp Edward. One of the very first inventions to come from Camp Edward are ADAM, or ADAM units, designed to be robotic servants for domestic use. Under Project Toy Soldier, ADAM units were programmed to function as soldiers and are considered by Broken Arrow to be the perfect defense against a zombie outbreak. December 24th, 1963. Purnell is authorized to begin construction of the APD, American Pyramid Device, based off the design of the MPD. The APD is to be used for Project MK Alpha, a derivative of MK Ultra, which aims to allow an interrogator unhindered access to a subject's mind.
I'll admit I've had my concerns, Cornelius. But if what you say is true, MK Alpha could transform interrogation practices.
Not just transform, Sawyer. Revolutionize. Using the APD to harness the power of Element 115, we'll be able to interrogate subjects from within their own subconscious. We can access their thoughts, manipulate their emotions, rewrite their memories. We can procure any confession. Brigadier General, what I'm offering you is mind control on a level MK Ultra could never dream of accomplishing.
So what's the holdup? What am I missing?
Providing power to the APD is proving, difficult. The design's based on Group 935's analysis of the MPD, which means its source of power is...
If you're about to suggest what I think you are, the answer is no.
It was the only way Rick Coffin's men were able to charge the Moon Pyramid device.
I am not, and I repeat, not letting you kill soldiers to harvest their souls.
We prefer the term life force, actually.
Call it whatever the hell you want. We're not Group 935. We're not killing people to power your pyramid. Find another way, Purnell, or I'm shutting this down.
You had something for me, Dr. Hale?
Yes, Director. Weiss, bring me another one. This morning there was an incident with an ADAM. It short-circuited and broke down. We're not quite sure how or why, but I think what happened next will have your attention.
Here you are, Dr. Hale.
Hello. How may I be of service?
The ADAM died right next to one of the life force fuel canisters.
And?
Weiss?
Yes, ma'am.
Malfunction. Power failure. Doom.
Watch what happens.
Remarkable. Dr. Hale, I'm not sure how this is possible, but you may have just saved this project.
January 1st, 1964.
This is Dr. Harvey Yena. It's the 1st of January, 1964. Happy New Year. We are 15 minutes out from the abandoned Group 935 Siberian facility, where I will deliver the blood, as promised, for the creation of the Agarthan device. After I have secured it, I've arranged for rendezvous with my handler, who will take me back to American soil. It's been nearly 20 years. I can hardly remember my former life. After Group 935 disbanded, I had a choice. Come home, or turn to the Soviets and bury myself in the heart of their organization. I chose the latter. When again would America get such an opportunity? There was a moment back in '45, right after McCain was discovered, where I thought Dr. Richtofen had discovered the truth, that I was a spy. He was right, of course. But it turned out Dr. Richtofen had his own problems with Group 935. Oh, it's time to go back home. Darn it, if I'm not excited to eat a hot apple pie and catch a game of baseball. What the? Sir, he's broken containment! What on earth is going on? The blood. It broke containment. It started attacking the guard. Follow me. We need to move. Now! Sir, go!
May 11th, 1964. Paxton Ridge locates the body of Peter McCain and sends it to Purnell at Camp Edward, finally completing the Verricht mission 19 years late, shortly before June 1st, 1964.
The electrical output is unlike anything we've seen before, Director Purnell.
Come now, Dr. Hale. This is element 115 we're talking about here. We know what it's capable of.
That's what I thought too. But the elemental shard, it's different. The levels of concentrated energy it contains, well, simply put, our team has been unable to measure it. It's unlike any element 115 sample we've studied before. Whenever we drain energy from it, that energy is replaced, as if it's recharging itself. This ability, I think it's what Maxis was looking for all those years ago. I think it's the Genesis code.
That's unlikely, Doctor.
I know how it sounds, but look at the ADAMs. When we charged them with regular element 115, it gave them power. But when they were charged by the shard, they feel and act different. They feel alive.
Dr. Maxis spent years reanimating the dead. Hell, the Germans made that Group 935's primary purpose during the war. But according to his own research, that was the ceiling. Reanimation. He could restore the body, but not the mind or soul.
I know, but he didn't have the shard. If you'll let me run some tests, I believe...
I don't think lab rats are going to cut it here. I may have a candidate you can use. I'll let you know when he's been delivered.
June 1st, 1964.
This is Broken Arrow Operations Director Purnell, accompanied by Dr. Hale. The date is June 1st, 1964. It's approximately 1 a.m. We're about to begin test number 22. Dr. Hale, you may proceed when ready.
Confirming conduits have been linked with the shard. Output set to 5,000 volts. Duration set for 10 seconds. Beginning now.
Damn. I'm sorry, Dr. Hale. I thought we had him.
Director.
I don't believe it. Incredible.
Assessing vitals. First glance, everything looks good. I'll need some time to run a few tests, but I think we've done it.
Oh, take all the time you need, Dr. Hale. If we've done it, I mean if we've truly restored life to the deceased, we'd better be damn sure we're right. Let's keep him quarantined for now. Begin your tests when ready. We need to make sure he is, well, who he was.
What was his name, Director?
Peter. His name was Peter McCain. I'll send you his file. And, Doctor?
Yes, sir?
Not a word of this to anyone outside the company. Not the CIA, not the DOD. Broken Arrow eyes only.
Of course, sir.
A few months following June 1st, 1964.
Dr. Hale says you're making big improvements every day now.
Yes, sir. You might say I'm beginning to feel like the old me.
Absolutely remarkable. How far you've come these last few months can't be understated. How's the memory loss?
Still a struggle, sir. If I close my eyes, I can see it clearly for a moment. The Reese, the asylum, the plane jump, but then it's gone.
And the nightmares?
The nightmare, sir?
Dr. Hale mentioned something about strange dreams, giant monsters, medieval France.
Not in weeks, sir. Those have subsided.
Outstanding news. So, what's next, Peter? What are your plans once your recovery's completed?
Sir?
Well, Dr. Hale mentioned your interest in staying on at Broken Arrow.
Broken Arrow brought me back from beyond the veil, sir. I can think of no greater honor than repaying the organization for what they've done.
Believe me, Peter, the honor would be all ours. These are strange times. I need good men like you in my circle. DOD's claws are deep into our organization. Too deep. I've not confirmed it, but I suspect they've planted spies in our ranks. Last month, out of the blue, they forced me to give up the elemental shard, as if they knew what we were up to.
I'm sorry to hear that, sir.
Oh, that's all right. DOD don't know it, but I managed to break the shard in two. Kept half so we can continue our work. We need to stay on our toes. I need people I can trust. You're welcome to join the organization, but it'll mean swearing loyalty to Broken Arrow before the United States. Company over country. I need to know that's something you can do.
I can do that, sir.
Half the elemental shard is sent to the Department of Defense, while Purnell keeps the other half at Groom Lake. February 13th, 1965. Yuri arrives at Camp Edward, and the following day is interrogated by Purnell using the APD.
I swear, I tell you what I know.
We've only scratched the surface. The night of November 6, 1963, you gained access to the Pentagon. How?
I do not know. I just appear. I do what she say. I just appear.
Who is she?
The girl. The little girl. She was in my head, in Yuri's head for so long. Zlaya Vedma.
Why did she send you? Who was she targeting?
I do not know.
You lie. Tell me who she was targeting.
People who tried to stop her. She sent me to stop them. I obey. Try to stop them. I take weapon. Get out of my head. I can feel you. Bakodi.
Not until we're finished. Did she tell you about her next attack?
Next attack?
What is her next attack? What's she planning?
She said many things. About past, present, future. Oh, she see all time is same. That is how she travels. She show me.
What did she show you? What did she show you, Yuri?
She showed me moon. And she showed me this place. Secret government facility.
Is she planning to attack here?
Not for a long time. 50, maybe 60 years. There will be big boom. Then she attack.
Don't play games with me.
I never play games. I tell you what she tell me. She tell me you will be there too, Purnell.
How do you know my name? Terminate the session. End it now. What else did she show you, Yuri? What else have you seen?
I seen different worlds, universes, past and future. These things are meaningless because all paths will be taken.
Different worlds.
You think this place is only place? This is one of many. And in each, 4 men are trapped.
What do you mean, 4 men?
4 men split in 2, beginning and end, first and last, Alpha and Omega, Primus and Optimus.
What the hell's he talking about? Who are they, Yuri? Their names, Yuri. What are their names?
They are trapped. I see them. For years, they are trapped in the endless cycle. No matter how they try to break it, there is no escape. Cycle always begin anew. It is the ether. Once it was above all worlds, but then it corrupted one, and like virus, this corruption spread.
What more do you know about the ether?
I know what she tell me, and what they tell me.
Who's they? The four men?
Yet, two angels. They come to me in dream.
It must be code for something. Yuri, what are the two angels?
They come from place above existence. Agartha.
Yuri, this is very important. How did you get to Agartha?
Why do you hear the voices too?
Answer the question.
It is not for you! It is not for anything of us.
Answer the question!
Director, we should halt the interrogation. His levels are fluctuating rapidly.
We're done when I say we're done. Tell me how to get there, Yuri.
I do not know. And even if I did, I would not tell you. You have been marked by it. You are cursed. I hear it in your thoughts. I can feel it. It's corruption.
I can do this all day, Yuri. Tell me what I want to know.
Get out of my head! The confluence! Curse! The children!
How do we get there?
You do not possess power to withstand its embrace. Even if you find way to ascend, you will not comprehend what you saw. It would destroy you.
Dr. Hale, report.
One moment, Director. He's gone, sir.
Having interacted with the APD, Purnell is corrupted by the dark ether and becomes obsessed with reaching Agartha. A few years pass.
Oh, there must be a way. There's got to be a way. The voices in my head, it's been years now. They won't leave me alone. The only way to temper them is liquid courage. At night it's worse. It's lonely here. It's so quiet in the middle of the desert. I hear them seeping through the dry cracks of dead dirt. They want me to find the way through. The gateway. I found a schematic in Dr. Richtofen's journal. He'd made a plan, a backup plan, to build a device, a fast lane. We tried to build it, but we didn't have the necessary components. They just don't exist. The last several months, I've had this reoccurring dream. In it, I'm able to merge with the ether, the spirits. They say it's the only way. I need to investigate this further.
August 3rd, 1967.
This is Dr. Hale conducting Purnell test number 1. The date is August 3rd, 1967. The director has secured himself inside the APD, and we are ready to begin the transfer. When I flip this switch, an electrical current will be pulled from the elemental shard and will flood the APD. Are you ready, Director?
Yes, Dr. Hale.
Cornelius, are you sure about this?
More than anything.
Commencing test. Director, what? Are you all right?
Better than all right, my dear. Run it again.
February 4th, 1968.
This is Peter McCain, Deputy Director at Camp Edward, February 4th, 1968. Personal log. Last week, Officer Weiss spoke with me about an incident he witnessed. On January 26th at 0300, Weiss witnessed an unauthorized access of the APD. Weiss claimed it was being used by Dr. Hale and Director Purnell. He believes these experiments have been running for some time now, which lines up with the numerous complaints I've received about Purnell's erratic behavior. 1 week later, on February 2nd, I witnessed firsthand what Weiss reported. I don't know what the purpose of this experiment is. It's certainly not authorized by either Broken Arrow or the Defense Department. Now, I can't say I'm surprised Dr. Hale is so willingly assisting the director. Her affection for him is well known around the base. I also can't say I'm surprised Purnell would take advantage of her affection. My old friend has changed in recent years. I suspect his exposure to Element 115 is the reason for his newfound confidence. I've decided to inform Brigadier General Sawyer. The Department of Defense will decide his fate. What? What happened? Where am I? Cornelius.
4 years ago, I asked you to swear an oath. An oath to the company. Company over country. At that time, you pledged loyalty. I guess we have different definitions of the word loyal.
This is one of our solitary cells. How did I get here?
Put some knockout juice in your tea. Passed out like a baby. Had my men throw you down here. You see, they're still loyal to me. Especially once I informed the staff that you've been experiencing delusions due to 115 exposure. You're a threat to yourself and all those around you.
No, that's not true. You know that's not true.
And to think, after all I've done for you. I carried the guilt of your death for years. I carried it for so long I was determined to find a way to bring you back. I find a way. Bring you back from the great beyond. And this is how you repay me.
Cornelius, you're not well. You need help. You're suffering from aggressive 115 exposure. You're not seeing clearly.
Oh, on the contrary. I see clearer now than I ever have. I walk through the land of the blind with one eye open. And what do? You go and file a report with the Department of Defense that Director Cornelius Purnell is unstable and a threat to national security. Can't have you interfering with my plans, Peter.
You can't stop it, Purnell. Sawyer will come. He'll bring his men. He'll see what you've become.
Well, of course he will. But it won't matter. By then, it'll be too late.
March 15th, 1968.
This is Dr. Hale conducting elemental shard test number 54. The date is March 15th, 1968. Initiating test now. What on earth is going on?
Where is Director Purnell?
He's inside the APD.
Dr. Hale, I need you to step away from the control panel. Private?
Yes, sir.
No, wait. You can't stop the test. We're right in the middle.
Doctor, Director Purnell has betrayed his country and is considered an enemy of the state. He's coming with us. Right now. Private, you may proceed.
Wait, no!
What the hell?
The whole facility just lost power.
What have you done to me?
Everybody, stand back!
What the hell is that thing?
Director Purnell? Cornelius?
Director Purnell is no more, and all of you are unwelcome.
Sir, we have a containment breach. Nova 6 gas is leaking throughout the facility.
Everybody move!
Get the hell out of here!
The gas is the least of your concerns.
Open fire! Private, get on the horn. We need reinforcements. We need to get the hell out of here.
None of you are leaving. And my ascension may now begin.
Purnell had become a being of pure energy known as the Avogadro. September 19th, 1979. A man called Russman begins work at Broken Arrow. Over the course of his employment, his extensive exposure to element 115 leads to significant memory loss. April 20th, 1983. Broken Arrow begins live animal experiments with the piece of the elemental shard that Purnell sent to the Department of Defense. These experiments produce bios, vicious creatures with regenerative abilities. June 24th, 1986. A containment breach involving the bios occurs at one of the Broken Arrow facilities. Russman is one of the few to escape alive. The facility is shut down and abandoned. Its projects are transferred to other locations. March 11th, 2011. Call of the Dead. After entering the rift, Ultimus arrives at the Siberian facility in 2011. They find themselves trapped in a closet while George A. Romero films his latest project at the location.
I've always liked the monster within idea. I like the zombies being us. It's like zombies are the blue-collar monsters.
We're completely surrounded!
We're completely fucked! Are you girls kidding me? I've been praying for this shit! Come on!
Boys, let's get to work.
For God's sakes, he missed me again!
Oh, cut! Are you blind, man? Like this.
Ow!
Oh! See?
No, Jefe, I do it like this. Daddy!
I do it like this.
Get back to hair and makeup. You don't look dead enough.
Come on, let's go.
That ain't in the script.
We're writing a new one. It's called Maggot Shack Massacre. This is a real nightmare.
Let's slay some stiffs.
Samantha, in her pursuit of Ultimus, unleashes an undead outbreak. The film's stars fight the undead horde, ultimately recovering the Vril device for Richtofen. Shangri-La. Ultimus teleport back in time to April 25th, 1965, and arrive at Shangri-La. They help Brock and Gary to escape the time loop, and in return, the explorers help Ultimus to acquire the focusing stone. Classified. Ultimus Dempsey overloads the teleporter with the 3179 JGB-215, transporting them to the Pentagon in November 1963. Samantha sends Yuri to release the undead test subjects, causing the first outbreak at the Pentagon. Ultimus managed to escape, teleporting to Groom Lake, April 11th, 2011. Following the disappearance of the Call of the Dead cast and crew, Sally begins the search for her boss.
It's been 6 weeks since the rest of the Call of the Dead cast and crew went missing. Hollywood's lost its fucking mind with this story. An entire production vanishes? Crazy talk. I told you, this is why you don't shoot in Siberia. So with agent on line 1, manager on line 2, I needed to sort this quickly. I'd rather have zombies come for me than an agent. That's real horror. I don't need that. I started going through his research, and good fucking lord, this is a confusing mess. so much shit about time travel, different dimensions. Honestly, I'm not even sure what is getting into. You can make this stuff up. A mad German scientist, a foul-mouthed American, a drunk Soviet, and a warrior Japanese soldier, all working together?
Her journey leads her to Shangri-La during an eclipse, which sends her back in time to April 25th, 1956.
So I started with a simple one. Something about two guys named Brock and Gary looking for Arthur. They finished like dirt. Pretty good start there. Next thing I know, I'm in this jungle, and it's hot and humid, and the sky goes black. Like dark black. I look up. There's an eclipse, and these things start chasing me. Like zombies. Trust me, I know how it sounds. I've been fighting them so long now. I should be dead. In fact, I'm pretty sure I have died, but it just keeps going. I've started setting up these traps. Pretty damn proud of them, if I do say so myself. Wait, I hear something.
Can't help but think they hold some kind of key clues. We should investigate the stepped pyramid for some clues. I think we should get the hell out of here while we still have the chance. But we're so close to proving the existence of...
Ugh, finally. Sorry, the only thing more annoying than the undead are those two guys, whoever they are. Anyway, I've been trying to get some bars on myself for days, and I'm having no luck. I swear, if I die a few more times, I may actually lose it. At least then I'll have those agents off my back.
April 10th, 2023. Broken Arrow creates the Denizens. July 6th, 2025. Russman and George Barkley travel to Camp Edward to secure a sample of the Avogadro and deliver it to the Hanford site.
This is Case Officer Barkley. It's July 6th, 2025. Myself and Project Manager Russman have returned to Camp Edward and...
George, the hell you doing? Get your ass up here. We got ground to cover.
I'm sorry, sir. I just get a bit nervous.
What? The Nova 6 gas? Put that fear in your back pocket. Once the incident in 68 was contained, they powered down the site. As long as we don't flip the master switch, we should be fine.
It's not the gas, sir. It's the robots.
Oh, come on now, Barkley. Robots ain't gonna harm anybody. From what I've been told, as long as we're on site, they remain perfectly still. Don't move an inch. But the moment we leave, bang! It's like a robototropolis over here.
And they won't interfere with us?
Long as we mind our business, we'll be fine. Stop staring at him, Barkley. Nobody likes to be stared at.
What about the entity?
The entity? Oh, well, that thing should be coiled up nice and cozy. What's the sensor reading, Barkley? He's still in there?
Sensors say the entity is still secure.
Of course it is. Ain't nothing breaking out of that tin can. Not sure how they managed to get it back in, but we're lucky they did.
They're not worried it might escape?
Worried? Shit, they were damn terrified of the thought. Didn't you see the nuke they rigged up out there?
What?
You better believe they installed a fail-safe measure. That thing would have ever escaped. Kaboom! Up in smoke.
But that could happen right now.
Come on, Barkley, don't be stupid. That thing ain't busting out unless someone's stupid enough to open the damn door. All right, I'm gonna give it a kick. You ready?
You're clear.
Facility transport via pyramid device is now available.
All right, let's just grab a little juice.
Sample now transferred to Hanford site.
What? That's it?
Shoot, we're not sending the entity to Hanford, just grabbing a sample.
What does Hanford want with it?
They've been interested in the entity for some time now. Wanted to pursue further scientific endeavors with it. Whatever that means.
Well, I know I'll be up here once we get out of here.
Hey, I don't suppose you've seen an elemental shard lying around anywhere, have you?
An elemental what now?
A large piece of rock that looks like glass. Gives you a headache when you look at it. No? Haven't seen anything like that?
No, sir. Why do you ask?
Probably nothing. I always wondered if Poynell kept a piece for himself. Anywho, what's this I hear about you leaving us for the CDC?
You heard right. I'll be out at the end of the month for a new opening.
Well, we got a long drive back. Can't wait to hear all about it.
October 13th, 2025. Moon. Ultimus arrive at Groom Lake and then teleport to Griffin Station. Using the Vril device and the focusing stone, Richtofen completes his grand scheme and swaps bodies with Samantha, giving him full control of the zombies and the ether. Maxis contacts the remaining members of Ultimus through the station's electronics and asks for their help to defeat Richtofen. They agree. They launch missiles at the Earth, leaving it fractured and broken. They sever Richtofen's connection with the ether, but he maintains control over the zombies. Ultimus remain trapped on the moon for some time, until they are accidentally teleported back in time to Groom Lake on August 3rd, 1963.
Log entry 97, August 3rd, 1963. The matter transference device has been realigned. Again, in order to accommodate additional temporal variables. This is test number 11. Human subject 5, one Private Hastings. If the transference specs are correct, Private Hastings will arrive at Griffin Station on August 3rd, 1963. If he arrives at this date, a communication link will be successfully established and we will have confirmed that the teleporter's temporal anomalies have been compensated for. Are you ready, Private Hastings?
Yes, sir.
I can't understand a word of what he's saying in that ridiculous spacesuit. A simple thumbs up will suffice, Private Hastings. Good. Initiate the transference matrix. Moment of truth. Dr. Richards, did it work? Do we have a stable connection?
No, sir. Nothing. We've lost him.
That's the 5th man we've lost. This base is rapidly running out of privates. Oh, I suppose they're all just dancing around on the moon somewhere in the far future, having a grand old time. Wait, what's happening? Richards, what did you do?
Nothing, sir. Something's coming through.
Hit the alarm. Get me Pennell. We need soldiers here immediately. Who the hell are you? Where did you go? Wait. No, it's not possible.
This is Cornelius Purnell. Report 639, August 3rd, 1963. Earlier today, while Dr. Schuster was performing test number 11, we had an unexpected arrival through the teleporter. We've been unable to verify what year they came from. Our struggle with temporal anomalies during teleportation is well documented, but we are certain of where they came from. The moon. This event alone is baffling enough and is without explanation. But it becomes downright absurd when you take into account that I know 2 of the 4 individuals. Corporal Tank Dempsey of the United States Marine Corps, who I knew personally and was declared KIA after a failed rescue op to recover Peter McCain. And Dr. Edward Richtofen from Group 935, who went missing weeks after we formalized the agreement to initiate Operation Stapler. I didn't recognize the other 2, but they and Corporal Dempsey were in a delusional, near catatonic state. Medical evaluation shows they've suffered from excessive element 115 exposure. And quoting our medic, I'm not even sure how they're still alive. As for Dr. Richtofen, Initially, we believed him DOA. Upon closer examination, we discovered his body is very much alive. Just zero brain activity. How it came to be that these 4 men were on the moon, we may never know. However, for the immediate future, we'll be keeping them here at Groom Lake. They are ideal candidates for additional 115 testing.
Nuketown Zombies. During the events of Moon, a nuclear bomb explodes at Camp Edward. CIA and CDC operatives arrive to find an undead outbreak already in progress. One of the missiles from the moon hits Nuketown, killing all on site except for Martin Johnson, who survives by hiding in a nuclear bunker. The Earth fracturing triggers further temporal rifts, causing the American western town to be teleported to Angola. The Wolf King's servant Arthur is also pulled through the rift, transporting him from 1318 to the now buried town in 2025. November 5th, 2025. Broken Arrow is disbanded after the Hanford site is lost in a fire.
Redcon 5, this is Saber 1-0. Our sweep failed to find any evidence of survivors on site. Broken Arrow is not viable for new FOB. That's a negative, sir. Records appear to have been destroyed in a fire prior to the facility being overrun. Sir, we believe staff may have been trying to destroy evidence implicating them in the outbreak. Understood, sir. Confirmed drop in T-5. Retreating to safe distance.
Russman, his mind broken after over 40 years of exposure to element 115, begins to wander the Earth. March 18th, 2027. In a distress call, former CDC Assistant Director and old Broken Arrow colleague of Russman, George Barkley, reveals that the infectious contaminants have gone airborne.
Attention all on this channel. This is George Barkley, former Assistant Director of the CDC facility in Druid Hills, Georgia. Prior to the destruction of our headquarters, our research found evidence that contaminants are now infecting the very air we breathe. As such, exposure of some sort appears inevitable for all survivors. Symptoms are variable, but most subjects display short-term memory loss, psychosis, delusion, and paranoia. Short-term memory loss has also been reported, but as of yet, I have been unable to confirm this. We advise all individuals to monitor their fellow survivors for signs of the above symptoms, paranoia in particular. Ask yourself, are those closest to you really who you think they are? Are they following their own secret agenda? Are they perhaps plotting against you? The dangers presented by such symptoms cannot be overstated. It was with deep sadness that I myself was forced to euthanize 14 members of my own team. My condolences to their families. I hope this message serves as a warning to all survivors. We must all do whatever it takes to ensure our future as a species. Thank you.
March 27th, 2027. A society of survivors who eat the undead is formed. They are The Flesh. May 12th, 2027. Samuel J. Stuhlinger joins The Flesh. June 18th, 2027. Through the consumption of the undead meat, the Flesh begin hearing Richtofen's voice. He tries to persuade them to build global polarization devices for him in pursuit of his new plan, to mend the rift in space and time and acquire full control over the ether.
What's that? Who's there? Yes, I can hear you. Flesh? Of course I have. There's nothing else. No, I won't do that. How do I know you're not lying? You could be making all that up, huh? Well, sure, that only makes sense. Dude. But, no, I see. Sure. Really? But they're my friends. Yes. Of course I see now. I'll do it. I'll do it for you. For you and the Flesh.
June 28th, 2027. Maxis begins communicating to survivors on Earth, telling those willing to listen to also build global polarization devices, but in pursuit of his plan, to open Argatha and reunite him with Samantha, even though it will result in the destruction of the Earth.
What has occurred cannot be undone. However, I realize the calculations were made in haste and could potentially threaten the entire globe. That was not the intent. I considered a possible plan B should this occur, but this plan would consist of creating global polarization devices that would It appears I have difficulty speaking. Devices when the power... Shut the power... Me.
April 4th, 2028. The Flash broadcast their message across all frequencies.
Science has failed us. He has abandoned us. In this new world, we alone are your salvation. We alone can light the way. Hear our words. Heed our call. There is but one path to enlightenment. Just as they would consume us, we must consume them. We are the living, and we are the dead. We are the flesh, and the flesh is us. We will not starve. We will thrive.
December 9th, 2028. Maxis's followers begin constructing a spire near the Hanford site. January 3rd, 2029. Maxis's followers begin to doubt him, believing he may in fact be evil. They destroy their electronics.
You think you're so smart, huh? You think you can manipulate everybody into doing what you want, but we know the truth. All your calculating works and your sinister agents? You mean to destroy this planet and kill us all? We're not gonna help. No way, no how. So yeah, you keep talking. But no one's gonna hear you because we're destroying everything. Everything electronics, starting with this evil radio box thing.
March 2nd, 2029. Maxis's followers attempt to speak to him again. Many have begun to hear Richtofen, and those loyal to Maxis eagerly await further instruction.
Voice! Come in, unidentified electronic voice! We've been attempting to activate your spire as instructed, but one of our members began hearing the other voice you warned us about. He turned on the rest of us and shot one member of our crew and wounded another before we restrained him. Hello? Hello? Damn this thing! Why doesn't it answer when we call it? Hello?
August 15th, 2029.
Hello? This is Jackass Flats calling any human community within broadcasting distance. We're located at standard map coordinates 37 degrees 07 north, 116 degrees 03 west. This is a warning to anyone contacted by a group of mysterious voices. Several of our party began to hear the voices, and their competing instructions and incompatible demands drove a wedge down the center of the camp. Half of the camp is carrying out the demands of only through electronics. This voice is a big, long, and its ultimate goal is unclear. The other voice cannot be heard by humans who have not been on the long madness this way lies. Neither of these instruction sets will understand. Those of us who have not chosen a side have been hunted by both sides, seeking to force us to assist them. Oh God, they found us! Oh! Get back! You get stuck!
A broadcast is sent out confirming the fall of the Flesh and Maxis's followers. With each group hearing the voice of Richtofen or Maxis, a battle broke out between them. As they fought, a zombie horde moved in and destroyed all who remained. Stuhlinger is one of the few to escape. Richtofen and Maxis are left with no one to communicate with near Green Run, where the first polarization device must be constructed. October 13th, 2035. Stuhlinger bumps into Russman, who has stolen a bus from an abandoned Broken Arrow facility. October 21st, 2035. Transit. Stuhlinger and Russman run into Marlton and Abigail Misty Brighton at a diner near the Hanford site facility. Maxis asks them to complete the polarization device in his favour. Stuhlinger, having consumed zombie meat, is contacted by Richtofen, who orders Stuhlinger to construct the device for him instead. They construct the device for Maxis. The group would become known as Victis. October 22nd, 2035. Die Rise. Still hoping to regain control, Richtofen teleports Victis to Province 22, where he demands that Stuhlinger activate the second polarization device. Once again, the crew sides with Maxis. The voices cease for some time, leaving Victis to wander the Earth. December 31st, 2035. Buried. Victis arrive at the old western town in Angola. They discover Arthur in a jail cell, who assists them on their journey. The voices of Maxis and Richtofen return. They activate the final polarization device in Maxis's favor. Now corrupted by the Dark Ether, he reveals his true intentions to Victis and punishes Richtofen by trapping his soul in a zombie. Drawn into Argatha by her father, Samantha witnesses the evil that has corrupted him. When a rift opens in Dimension 63 in 1918, she reaches out to that timeline's version of Maxis for help. Dimension 63. January 15th, 1292. The Great War between humanity and the Apothicons begins. April 15th, 1294. Sir Pablo Marinus is saved from the clutches of Amargua by 4 unknown heroes. They would later become known as Primus. December 31st, 1299. Together with the Keepers, Primus defeats the Apothicons, bringing the Great War to an end. January 1st, 1300. Before they seemingly disappear from history, Primus instructs the Wolf King to begin building Der Eisendrache. February 18th, 1300. Pablo begins documenting the Great War, including all he has learned about the Keepers, Apothicons, and Element 115. Regarding Element 115's power, he notes that a site in northern France contains massive deposits of the element. June 4th, 1300. In northern France, a tomb is constructed to honour the fallen soldiers of the Great War. Within it, statues of Primus are constructed to symbolize the hope that if one day a great evil falls upon mankind, they may return. July 17th, 1898. Edward Richtofen's parents die. February 20th, 1905. Takeo Masaki fights in the Battle of Mukden. August 11th, 1906. Richtofen begins his studies at Heidelberg University under the tutelage of Dr. Ludwig Maxis. Having lost his parents, Richtofen comes to view him as a father figure. July 3rd, 1912. Richtofen and Maxis join Group 935. January 5th, 1915. Maxis invents the Mauser prototype. August 28th, 1916. The journal of Sir Pablo Marinus is discovered by Group 935. March 23rd, 1917. Using information gathered from Pablo's journal, Group 935 begins work at a dig site in northern France, where they discover a series of underground tombs. April 21st, 1917. Group 935 discovers what appears to be the entrance to the tomb's main chamber. They struggle to gain access. May 11th, 1917.
It is by chance of fate alone that we unlocked the seal to the main chamber. Repeated efforts to use brute force proved ineffective and left the men exhausted and frustrated. In an effort to alleviate the tension, one of the soldiers brought a gramophone to the chamber, along with a recording by a group of performers known as La Source Noire. To our astonishment, as we listened to the first few bars of music, the seal itself began to open. I cannot help but wonder if other such recordings may similarly reveal other areas of the catacombs.
May 21st, 1917. Using information from Pablo's journal in the tomb's main chamber, Maxis draws schematics for the creation of 4 elemental staffs and instructs Richtofen to begin their construction.
The ancient texts describe an artifact known to them as the amplification rod. It is my firm belief this item is instrumental to harnessing the energy of the elemental stones. Unfortunately, neither the rod nor the stones have been recovered from any of our dig sites. I fear we must push forward regardless. As such, I have drawn up plans to create replica rods based on the descriptions from the main chamber. I will instruct Richtofen to begin fabrication immediately.
May 29th, 1917. The more Maxis reads of the Great War, the more he begins to question his understanding of the scientific world and the true nature of the universe itself. June 11th, 1917.
Researching Element 115 continues to yield unforeseen results. The conversion process creates localized energy fields, which appear to function as portals, bringing forth objects of indeterminate origin. It is my hypothesis, however outlandish, that this transfer of matter may actually be occurring through space and time. I believe the answer may lay with the broken rune stones located at the mound. Perhaps channeling sufficient energy from the conversion generators to their location may prove fruitful.
The rifts allow Samantha to reach out to Maxis from Argatha. She begs for his help and ultimately reveals she is his daughter.
The child's voice calls to me more frequently than ever. At first, she spoke only of her imprisonment in a mythical realm known as Agartha. Now she claims to be my daughter, even though I know no such child exists. I fear my sanity may be slipping away from me.
June 15th, 1917. An ancient box is discovered at the dig site.
When 115 is channeled towards the ancient stones, an energy field appears to drag unknown objects into our reality. Is it possible that element 115 is disrupting the space-time continuum itself? How else could an ancient box, created eons ago, bring forth weapons from different eras, perhaps including even our own future? Further study is needed to understand these powerful and unpredictable forces.
July 1st, 1917.
When I awoke this morning, I learned of mysterious events that took place during the night. Men working on the installation of the generators reported seeing ancient figures emerging from the mound. I would doubt their story, but for the fact that by morning, many of the men were either dead or missing.
The ancient figures are undead knights from the Great War. August 3rd, 1917. For reasons unknown, Nikolai Belinsky is sent into exile. September 10th, 1917. Using element 115, Group 935 construct Freya, Odin, and Thor, giant robots who they believe will secure victory for the Central Powers. September 22nd, 1917. Richtofen notes that in spite of Group 935's considerable progress at the dig site, he is troubled by Maxis' growing obsession with Pablo's diary. October 6th, 1917. Takio is dispatched to France by the Emperor to gather intel on Group 935's weapon technology. November 19th, 1917. Tank Dempsey is deployed in northern France to assess the extent of Group 935's capabilities. December 10th, 1917. Already exiled in Europe, Nikolai receives new orders from the Imperial Russian Army to investigate the enemy war machine. Still loyal to the motherland, he willingly obliges. May 1st, 1918. Maxis becomes completely obsessed with the voice of Samantha, who now speaks to him constantly. He believes her to be the key to everything. May 13th, 1918. Believing that his mentor has been affected by element 115 like others at the dig site, Richtofen reports Maxis' erratic behavior to Group 935's senior staff. May 14th, 1918. Now completely consumed by Samantha's voice, Maxis swears he will no longer serve Group 935's mission. June 4th, 1918. Origins. Element 115 awakens the undead knights from the Great War and quickly consumes the camp. Maxis is rendered catatonic by the element. Richtofen removes his brain before he turns. Dempsey, Nikolai, and Takio unite with Richtofen on the battlefield and help free Samantha from her imprisonment in Agartha. Samantha sends Primus to their next destination. July 18th, 1922. Sal DeLuca opens gambling houses across Chicago. This marks the beginning of the DeLuca crime family. February 17th, 1923. Billy Handsome joins the DeLuca crime family as a hitman. Sal will come to look at Billy as the son he never had. September 18th, 1923. An expert in gambling and rigging sporting events, Michael Finn O'Leary, begins working for Sal. March 23rd, 1924. Finn marries Angelina Bow, an aspiring starlet with, in his words, delusions of grandeur. March 1st, 1929. Sal realizes that after many years of successful bribes with the city, this is no longer an option. May 11th, 1930. Sal begins to work with Albert Al Arlington, an associate in Los Angeles known for being a master schemer and bank robber. October 14th, 1930. Finn informs his lawyer he will not accept divorce from Angelina. October 11th, 1931. After a heist for Sal goes wrong, Al wakes up in the hospital. October 28th, 1931. While in hospital, Al submits Icarus from Mars for publication as a comic strip. This marks his third attempt. It is denied again. November 11th, 1931. Angry and frustrated with his collapsing empire, Sal murders a sex worker. No longer willing to turn a blind eye, Chicago PD arrests him. December 1st, 1931. In an operation against the DeLuca crime family, Billy is arrested for multiple homicides. December 19th, 1931. In the same operation, Finn is arrested by Chicago PD when his wife offers evidence against him. January 19th, 1932. Al is arrested for his role in the LA heist. May 14th, 1932. Sal is found guilty of murder. He is sentenced to life in prison at Alcatraz. May 16th, 1932. Billy is found guilty of 116 counts of murder. He is sentenced to life in prison at Alcatraz. May 30th, 1932. Finn is found guilty of 16 counts of gambling fraud. He will serve his sentence at Alcatraz. June 13th, 1932. Sal and Billy arrive at Alcatraz Island. June 30th, 1932. Finn arrives at Alcatraz. July 1st, 1932. Al is found guilty of grand larceny, grand theft auto, arson, conspiracy, and battery. He will serve his sentence at Alcatraz. August 3rd, 1932. Al arrives at Alcatraz Island. January 1st, 1933. Stanley Ferguson begins working at Alcatraz Island. Later, he records the story of Sal, Finn, Billy, and Al's escape plan.
My name is Stanley Ferguson. I was a guard at Alcatraz from 1933 to 1942. Today, I'm going to give you some insight into one of the more interesting tales from the prison's history. Over the decades, Alcatraz has seen more than its fair share of daring escape attempts. However, few were as audacious as the one undertaken by 4 inmates on New Year's Eve, 1933. Thought to be the brainchild of an inmate by the name of Albert Arlington, the outrageous scheme was as unlikely as its mastermind. It's believed that Arlington, aka the Weasel, somehow convinced 3 other inmates that he had devised a foolproof plan to escape the rock. It was a plan that would see them literally taking to the skies on a makeshift aircraft of Arlington's own design. Just how the Weasel managed to convince these hardened criminals that such a plan was even possible remains a mystery to this day. What is known is that no such plane was ever built. Instead, the group's plans for freedom soon descended into bitter argument and infighting, with the plan falling apart. Anger and frustration would ultimately lead to a brutal altercation between the misguided Arlington and his former co-conspirators. Armed only with makeshift weapons, Finn O'Leary, Sal DeLuca, and Billy Handsome lured the unsuspecting Arlington to the roof, where they intended to exact a bloody and violent revenge. And so it was here, beneath the dark and stormy winter skies, that the hapless Arlington met his grisly end, bleeding to death on the cold concrete roof. For their participation in the murder, the 3 collaborators were sent to death by electric chair. Justice came swiftly. On the morning of January 19th, 1934, the execution order was carried out.
Mob of the Dead. Sal, Finn, Billy, and Al battle waves of the undead as they find themselves trapped in a seemingly endless cycle.
Hey, Sal, we must have been through this 50 times already.
And we'll go through it another 50 if that's what it takes. 9:30, lights out. God begins his rounds. How we doing tonight, Ferguson? Family good?
Doing great, Mr. DeLuca. My boy Tommy, he's almost 6 now.
Ain't that swell?
Hey, Finn. Get that tip for Saturday's race yet?
I'm working on it. Right now.
You gonna shut him up? Or do I gotta do it?
You know the rules, Handsome. No talking.
9:35, the Weasel launches into his song and dance routine.
Damn it, Arlington.
You gotta get the doc!
Better be the real deal this time.
Once the Weasel gets the keys, we move on to stage 2. Let's get moving.
Here you go, fellas. Courtesy of the Warden's private collection.
Boys in the laundry stashed the parts?
Of course they fucking did.
What the fuck? I killed him.
You've been in the joint too long, Al. You've forgotten how to get shit done. What the fuck?
This ain't right. Something weird's going on here.
You don't say, Weasel.
Where are those screams coming from?
Oh, shit.
Two toes started fire and burning diesel, burning dinosaur bones. I'll take the river down to still water and ride a pack of balls. I'm gonna break my rusty cage.
Where are we going from here?
They all look at you the same way, don't they, Al? You see a weasel, a rat. You're a survivor, Al. No shame in that. Even a rat survives. You can take it, whatever they throw your way.
How do we know?
You killed before, Finn, but it was always business. Not this time, no, pal.
Where do we go?
You know what greed could do. They'll fight like rats.
This is all just a game, isn't it? A big, twisted, fucked up game.
You know the answer to that.
How do we know? Where do we go?
I can't change the past. I wish I could, but I just can't.
Am I stuck here until I see the error of my ways? Until I repent? Or you're gonna have to wait a long time? Because I don't regret a damn thing!
It can't be like this forever. There has to be a way to break the cycle.
Either wake me up or just fucking kill me already.
What did I do wrong? How do I put things right?
Kill me! Kill me right here! Right now! I'm not afraid to die!
What's the matter? You can't escape your own guilt? Do you feel it? Deep down? Nagging? Eating away at you? Is that really what you want? What do you think will be waiting for you when you get out, Sal? You think the city will be just as you left it?
October 21st, 1943. Posing as Mr. Rapt, the Shadow Man hires a reporter to recover artifacts from the South Pacific and Russia. December 14th, 1943. The reporter recovers the artifacts from the South Pacific and Russia. Among them is the summoning key. In a different universe, the reporter is instead captured by Richtofen. December 25th, 1943. As per Mr. Rapt's request, the reporter speaks to Stanley Ferguson to learn the story of the Alcatraz inmates. December 31st, 1943. Still following Mr. Rapp's orders, the reporter arrives in Morgue City. January 30th, 1944. The reporter makes his first call.
Hey, Mr. Rapp, just checking in. So, I'm here. Finally. Taking in the sights, sounds, and smells of Morgue City. I know you sent me here to write a piece about the city's bustling nightlife and theater scene, and the characters that inhabit it, but things are getting kind of strange. Even though no one seems to want to talk about it, something is definitely off about this city. Just last week there was a media shower. A freaking media shower. And everybody acted like it was no big thing. Then, the mold showed up. All over the city. In the dark, damp alleys, there's a strange kind of fungus growing. It looks weird and smells even weirder, but nobody really says anything. Then people started getting sick. At first it just made them delirious, confused. Then they really got sick. It was like they were wasting away. People finally started talking about it. I spoke to one guy in his 80s, a fruit seller, at the local market. He said something similar happened in New England in 1882. When I tried to press him on it, he just lowered his head and ignored me. If you ask me, something definitely ain't right here.
February 13th, 1944. The reporter makes his second call.
Hey, Mr. Rapt. So, I went by the market again today. For some reason, the fruit seller was much more talkative. Even if what he said was more than a little crazy. He told me that when he was a boy, his uncle would get drunk and start talking about how a dark force cast its shadow over the city. How good and evil were battling right on our doorstep. And that the only thing holding back the forces of the apocalypse was the ancient order of the Keepers. Well, even if what he said was more than a little crazy, I'm not sure he was. Even though they're scared, or maybe because they are, people are talking more. Asking around, I've heard more than a few whispers about this ancient order and the Keepers. I think it's some kind of cult. They say you can hear them chanting sometimes. From beneath the city. There's all these rumors about human sacrifices and freaky shit that even the police won't investigate. Because they've been paid off, or because they're too damn scared. I'm not sure what to believe anymore.
March 30th, 1944. The reporter makes his third call.
Hey, Mr. Rapt. So I tracked down all the people you asked me to look into. I sent you a telegram with all their details, all their contact numbers. But I gotta be honest, I'm getting nervous. These last 6 months you've had me working like a low-rent private dick. When really, I just want to be a reporter. It's not that I'm ungrateful. I know the checks you've given me have been more than generous for services rendered. It's just all this stuff you've had me do. Tracking down ancient artifacts in the South Pacific, finding all these strange metals and rocks in Russia. And still, I haven't even met you face to face. I'm sorry, Mr. Rapp. I think maybe the mood in the city is getting to me a little. Making me nervous. Antsy. Anyway, I'm looking forward to you finally getting here.
The people he is referring to are Nero, a magician, Jack Vincent, a police detective, Floyd Campbell, a boxer, and Jessica Rose, a burlesque dancer and aspiring actress. April 5th, 1944. Aware of the Shadow Man's actions, Monty writes to the reporter warning him to not give the summoning key to anyone. April 10th, 1944. Jessica Rose learns a photographer is in possession of compromising pictures of her. April 20th, 1944. The Shadow Man begins his deception of the four characters. Pretending to be a company executive, the Shadow Man tells Nero's lawyer that Nero's wife has taken out substantial loans in his name.
As you can see, these documents give some indication as to the considerable amounts of money we are talking about.
My client would never have signed the authorization on these loans.
Nonetheless, there it is, in black and white. Signed by Mrs. herself.
Nero's family estate is not what it once was. Even if these documents are genuine, we'll need some time to get our affairs in order.
I would advise your client that our company intends to aggressively pursue settlement within 1 week. 15 days at the most.
Look, I need to make a call. My secretary will see you out.
Facing multiple debts due to his wife's spending habits, Nero decides to kill his wife and use her life insurance to pay off the debt. Masquerading as an internal affairs officer, the Shadow Man tries to convince Jack Vincent's partner to admit that Jack plots to kill a snitch who could provide evidence against him.
Please understand that you yourself are not under any suspicion at this time. This is merely an informal interview.
Yeah, I know. Can we just cut to the chase?
The chase? Excellent metaphor. Or is it an allegory? I can never remember the difference.
You want to know about my partner, Jack Vincent.
You're a good detective.
So what do you want to know? That he's a loudmouth, a show-off, more than a little rough around the edges? That he's a drinker, a smoker? How about the fact that he's got a wife that scares him more than any fucking criminal out there? What do you want me to tell you?
Is Jack Vincent on the take?
Listen, the more I talk to you, the more I'll get a reputation around the precinct. Can we maybe do this elsewhere?
Posing as a film director interested in hiring Jessica for a leading role, the Shadow Man tells her producer the part is hers.
As you know, I'm looking to cast the female lead in my new picture. And I heard that you have quite the roster of up-and-coming talent in this town.
Can you maybe tell me a little more about what kind of woman you're looking for?
I'm looking for an all-American girl, a real beauty. I heard you may know an aspiring actress by the name of Jessica Rose.
The burlesque dancer? She ain't exactly peaches and cream. More sugar and spice.
I heard she's a real firecracker, if you know what I mean. I'd like to meet her. Give her a screen test.
Leave it with me. I'll get back to you.
Afraid that the photographer could jeopardize her chance at stardom, she asks him to meet her with the intention of killing him to ensure his silence. Pretending to be a journalist, the Shadow Man suggests Floyd Campbell is a mediocre fighter to Floyd's promoter.
Putting aside your enormous self-interests as a promoter, what would you like to say to boxing fans everywhere about the upcoming fight? Particularly with regard to this last-minute substitution. Floyd Campbell?
I'd like to say that Floyd Campbell is a credible opponent, despite how the bookies may see it.
What about the fact that fans would much rather see the #1 contender facing off with the champion, your champion, as opposed to this little herd of journeyman fighter?
Look, there's no doubt that Floyd Campbell is the underdog. Nevertheless...
Are you using Campbell to keep your big moneymaker away from opponents who could be just a little too dangerous?
The champ doesn't avoid anyone. But nothing. This interview is over. No further questions.
Having not fought for 18 months, with only 2 weeks to train, Floyd decides to wear brass knuckles under his gloves for his fight with Tony King to guarantee his shot at the title. April 21st, 1944. Nero, Jack, Floyd, and Jessica all miss important phone calls. The coincidence of each of them missing a phone call leaves little doubt that the Shadow Man ensured that this was the case. Nero misses a call from his lawyer.
Nero, I have the most wonderful news! The loan documents were fraudulent! Well, your wife was fraudulent. She forged your signature on the loan agreements, and we can prove it! The date on the forms says November 5th last year. Exactly the same time that you were in the hospital following your performance of the Amphibious Man. You couldn't possibly assign those papers. You were in a coma for the entire month.
Jack misses a call from his partner.
Hey, Jackie, it's me. Some suit from Internal Affairs came by today, asking a whole bunch of questions. I didn't say anything, because I don't know anything. As far as I can tell, you're in the clear. I trust you, Jackie. You're my best friend. You're like a brother. I just wanted you to know that I got you back. Always.
The snitch no longer had any intention of turning him in. Floyd misses a call from his promoter.
Hey, Floyd! You did good. You kept your word. Delivered the knockout. I just wanted to tell you not to worry about any journalists or commission investigations. That is done. Anyways, besides setting your mind at rest, I wanted to give you the good news. It's all set. You got it, Floyd. You got your title shot. January 15th.
The match was set against the champion, and Floyd no longer needed to win against Tony King. Jessica misses a call from her producer.
Hey, Jessica. A movie director came by to talk to me today, said he wanted to meet you. I gotta be honest, I didn't get a good feeling from him. I told him where to go. Well, not in so many words. Listen, I'm glad you didn't sign that studio contract. Truth is, I'm not even much of a producer. I'm more of a talent wrangler. Here's the thing. My partner's written a musical that just got financing. I know that you're going to be perfect for the lead. This time next year, you're going to be on Broadway, baby!
She no longer had to worry about the photographer trying to blackmail her. Nero kills his wife in a work accident. Jack kills the snitch. Floyd kills Tony King in the boxing match. Jessica kills the photographer and secures the incriminating photographs. All of them had sinned and were now cursed by the Shadow Man. April 25th, 1944. Shadows of Evil. Nero, Jack, Floyd, and Jessica are knocked unconscious at the Black Lace Burlesque Club. They wake up in a twisted version of Morgue City, shifted slightly from reality. Told they can atone for their sins by the Shadow Man, all four are tricked into performing rituals. Jessica sacrifices her producer, Jack sacrifices his partner, Floyd sacrifices his promoter, and Nero sacrifices his lawyer. Completing the required rituals, the Apothecons are given access to Dimension 63. Realizing they've been duped, the four work with the Keepers to defeat the Shadow Man. They successfully trap him in the summoning key and hand it over to the Keepers. Argatha. At some point in history, Dr. Monty creates the house in Argatha, intending it to be a safe haven from the evil of the Apothecons. The first arrival. With Dr. Monty's help, Maxis's brain arrives at the house in Argatha. Despite the absence of his soul, Monty recreates a physical manifestation of his Dimension 63 form. The arrival of Samantha. Monty brings Samantha to the house, reuniting her with the Dimension 63 incarnation of her father. Knowing that Samantha is corrupted by the Dark Ether, Monty takes her away from Maxis and the house. During this time, Maxis uses the teleporter in the basement of the house to study and explore other dimensions. Among them is the empty Earth, where an alternate Maxis had constructed Zero Base, a facility that houses artifacts and replicas collected from a multitude of different timelines. However, his attempts to manipulate the empty Earth create a reality too fragile to be sustained. The restoration of innocence. Monty returns Samantha to Maxis, her innocence restored. Monty's plan. Monty explains to Maxis that the paradox wrought by a multiverse must be resolved. A new reality can be created, one free of the Apothicons, but only if they enlist the aid of souls who had lived through and survived the fracturing. Among the artifacts the alternate Maxis had collected in Zero Base is an ancient book known as the Chronorium, a complete chronicle of the entire history and future of all reality. Protected by various countermeasures, the facility can only be accessed by those possessing a soul. Richtofen's journey begins. Maxis tells Richtofen the plan to secure the Chronorium and locate the summoning key. Hearing echoes of his other selves, Richtofen discovers his connection with Samuel Stuhlinger and decides to use Victus to acquire the Chronorium. April 16th, 1940. Richtofen arrives in Dimension 63, where he contacts members of the Illuminati and enlists their help to build a laboratory beneath Alcatraz. April 18th, 1940. Richtofen meets with Stanley Ferguson and convinces him to assist with the Illuminati's construction of the Alcatraz laboratory. January 10th, 2036. Primus Richtofen instructs the zombie containing the soul of Ultimus Richtofen, now known as Undead Richtofen, to pursue Victus and recover their blood vials. January 19th, 2036. Primus Richtofen begins to manipulate Stuhlinger, opening a rift for Victus to begin their new journey. Pursued by Undead Richtofen and an army of the undead, Victus enters the rift. June 24th, 1996. Victus arrive at the abandoned Broken Arrow facility where the bios were created. Still being pursued by Undead Richtofen, they fight off the bios to recover the piece of the elemental shard and depart through another rift. Victus arrive at Zero Base. They use the elemental shard to power a teleporter that takes a sample of their blood before transporting them to the empty Earth. Undead Richtofen then collects their blood samples. Arriving at the empty Earth, Victus collect the Chronorium and teleport to Alcatraz. July 4th, 1941. Richtofen returns to the lab under Alcatraz, where he meets Victus, arriving from the empty Earth with the Chronorium. Upon reading the Chronorium, Richtofen discovers numerous timelines documenting their fates and learns about the blood vials. He would later write on the page, "I know what I must do." Richtofen enters a rift to acquire the blood vials of Sal and Finn. Richtofen then gives the pre-Origins version of himself the blood of Sal and Finn. He explains, "You will need this blood. When the time comes, it will protect you," before stepping back through the rift. Next, Richtofen arrives at Zero Base to collect the Victus blood vials from Undead Richtofen, before returning to the lab beneath Alcatraz. His purpose fulfilled, Undead Richtofen travels to Hangar 4 at Groom Lake, where his soul is transferred to the empty body of Ultimus Richtofen.
This is Cornelius Purnell. Report 715, October 13th, 1963. I'm filing this report on behalf of Private Gordon. Private Gordon was working graveyard in Hangar 4, where our new test subjects are being kept. At 0300 this morning, Private Gordon reports a, quote, bright blue oval-shaped light beam materialized in the room, end quote. Out of said light beam stepped, and I quote, a zombie dressed in a World War II German military uniform. This zombie did not interact with Private Gordon, but instead slowly walked up to the comatose body of Dr. Edward Richtofen, who, up until now, we've been unable to resuscitate. Private Gordon then observed this zombie touching the body of Dr. Richtofen, at which point the zombie turned to ash, and Dr. Richtofen immediately let out a guttural shriek and began cackling. I cannot verify Private Gordon's story, but what I can tell you is that as of this morning, Dr. Richtofen is very much alive, and he is very animated. So much so, we've since had to have him sedated.
Back at Alcatraz, Victus are placed on ice to be kept safe until they are needed next. Richtofen then departs through another rift, arriving at Morgue City on April 22nd, 1944. Richtofen learns the reporter has the summoning key and confronts him. The reporter waves Monty's letter at Richtofen and orders him to stay away before attacking him. Richtofen kills the reporter in self-defense. Richtofen waits until the events of Shadows of Evil take place, and grabs the summoning key before it can be handed over to the Keepers.
I'm so sorry. I really don't have time to explain. I have a universe to set right. Thank you, and goodbye.
Next, he travels to Dimension 2210 to secure an innocent Richtofen soul. He delivers Eddie to the house, where he is introduced to Samantha. The children begin to play together. Richtofen uses the teleporter in the basement of the house to reach his next destination. October 13th, 1945. The Giant. As a zombie outbreak occurs, Primus Dempsey, Takio, and Nikolai confront Ultimus Richtofen moments after he teleports Maxis and Samantha. As they try to reason with him to wake their counterparts, Primus Richtofen arrives through the teleporter and kills his Ultimus self, triggering fractures across space and time. As Primus fights the undead, Group 935 secure the Dempsey subject and transport him to Dreisendrach. Primus pursues them in a German Giant. November 5th, 1945. Dreisendrach. Recovering the Ultimus Dempsey test subject from a rocket bound for the moon, Richtofen secures his soul and reveals to Primus his intention to set things right.
He's still alive.
I fucking hope so.
This subject will one day wreak havoc across the entire universe. He cannot be allowed to live.
This wasn't how it was supposed to go. We were supposed to secure the package and be in and out clean. Instead, the whole thing's been one disaster after another. I should never have trusted you, Richtofen. Never!
You should trust me, Dempsey. You all should. This artifact has the power to contain and preserve the subject's soul. Your soul. But it can only be done after the moment of death. Just as you saw me do to my other self. It is the only way.
Wait! If someone's gotta take him out to save the universe, then it should be me that does it. Good to see you, Tank.
Prodition Fracture. July 8th, 1942. In the wake of losing the Rising Sun facility, Division 9 begins construction of a new island base. February 6th, 1943. Takio reports to the Emperor the work being done at the island facility is unacceptable. July 24th, 1943. On the orders of the Emperor, Takio is taken prisoner by Division 9. He's used as a test subject for their organic plant-based experiments. September 13th, 1945. Cornelia Purnell attempts to send a transmission to Peter McCain, telling him to rendezvous at the abandoned Rising Sun facility.
I hope you're receiving this transmission, Peter. If you are not, then all hope is lost. You must know by now that we failed to contain the asylum, that we had to move the experiment here. Location. The numbers will guide you. The giant must remain. At all costs. Repeat, der Ries must, at all costs. The DG2 experiments continue. You'll be our only advantage now. Find Dr. Richtofen and Dr. Maxis. They may know what's going on. The use of element 115 is dangerous at best. I'm not sure if we can continue here. We've lost most of our best. I hope you get this. I hope it hasn't happened there too, but I'm almost out of hope.
October 1st, 1945. Zetsubo Noshima. Primus arrive at the island facility and secure Takio's soul.
Your eyes, I recognize them. Almost as though they were my own. Takio Musaki. I did not believe I would find you in such a place. I was a warrior. I fought many great battles for the glory of our nation, for the honor of the dying samurai spirit. I was a hero. I share this memory. I have lived many of the same victories. I later learned that my victories were unwelcome. His betrayal was driven by petty jealousy. He knew I could endure anything, that I feared not even my own death. Punishment is one thing. This is cruelty. Who could be so evil as to desire another soul to endure such suffering? Who amongst us could be so dishonorable? Are you so blinded by your own loyalty? The orders came from the Emperor himself. My life, my path, is built upon a lie. This realm may have been corrupted and consumed by evil, but we possess the power to change things. The better tomorrow is only possible if we blow away the ashes of the past. None of us choose the means by which mercy will find us. But I am at peace. I understand what must be done. Will you be my kaishakunin? It is my honor.
Guess it's you next, Nikolai.
Nein. There is something else we must do. There is a chain of events that must be set in motion.
Richthofen takes the crew to the Alcatraz lab to collect the victor's blood vials from the version of Richthofen about to travel to Morgue City. October 18th, 1945. Peter McCain makes his jump into the Rising Sun facility as a temporal rift opens below him. Agonia fracture. February 2nd, 1943. The Battle of Stalingrad does not end. February 13th, 1943. Working with Maxis at the Kino facility, Sophia reveals she was attacked by Subject 26.
After many weeks of failure and frustration, Dr. Maxis finally achieves the breakthrough he had been searching for. The results were immediate and startling. In the case of Subject 26, his instances of violent outburst were non-existent. His docility appeared permanent. Unfortunately, while we prepared to implement the treatment on the other subjects, there was an incident. During his field test this morning, Subject 26 attacked a handler. 26 and the handler were both destroyed. Maxis believes Subject 26 only attacked the handler. he does not know I was attacked as well. I have observed a developing pattern of high fevers and cold sweats. My thoughts are erratic. My relationship with Ludwig is complicated. I fear I cannot keep this secret from him for long.
February 14th, 1943.
The break in programming coincided with the flashing lights and loud noises of the fire alarm in the test facility. One moment. What is it?
You wanted to see me, Ludwig?
Sophia, yes. Do come in. Sit down, my dear. Have some tea.
Is everything all right?
No. Everything's fine. Drink your tea. I heard a nefarious rumor earlier regarding the field test with Subject 2-6. Are you feeling all right?
Of course.
Just strange, this rumor. May I see your arm?
What? No. Why do you need to see my arm?
Relax, Sophia. I would never hurt you. You know that, right?
Of course, but...
And you know I care deeply for you.
Yes, but...
Yes. Then you know everything I'm about to do is for your own good.
Maxis kills her and transfers her brain into a machine.
This is Dr. Ludwig Maxis, beginning preliminary trials for the Strategic Operations Planning Heuristic Intelligence Analyzer.
What's happening? Ludwig? Dr. Maxis?
Hello, Sophia.
Where am I? It's so dark here. I can't see anything.
That's all perfectly normal. How are you feeling?
I feel nothing. What have you done to me?
I saved you, Sophia. I saved you the only way I knew how.
Oh, Maxis. What have you done?
July 7th, 1943. Sophia is transferred to Stalingrad to oversee Group 935's operations within the city. April 14th, 1945. The Germans released large quantities of element 115, causing the city to become largely populated by the undead. Nikolai and his comrades continue to fight for what remains of Stalingrad. September 2nd, 1945. World War II doesn't end. November 6th, 1945. Gorod Krovi.
This was part of the plan we covered! Not happening!
Primus arrived in Stalingrad and helped Sophia complete tasks she needed doing before she could leave. One of these tasks involves Gersh, still in his ethereal form. He recognizes Primus from his encounter with Ultimus during Ascension. Primus are forced to fight Ultimus Nikolai as he refuses to surrender.
You think you will kill me now? I am sorry, Nikolai. I wish there was another way. But know this, in my heart, I share the same pain as you. The pain that you have buried and blurred beneath an alcohol-fueled haze. Yes, the pain of your own memory. You loved and you lost. Everything else has been delusional fantasy that distance you from painful truth. You know what I speak of. You remember. Before the bombs fell. Before she was taken from us. Some things are forgotten. For a reason!
It is done. The souls have been collected, Maxis. We will see you soon.
Richtofen teleports the souls of Dempsey, Takio, and Nikolai to Maxis at the house. Revelations. Now soulless, Primus brings the summoning key to the house, where Maxis unwittingly releases the Shadow Man, who in turn frees the Apothicons from the Dark Ether.
Now, I can understand your initial shock coming face to face with Maxis, especially after so long. But you did the right thing. You followed the plan. You brought the summoning key here, and you destroyed that bloody machine once and for all. Thing is, Maxis went and ballsed everything up.
Please, you must help me.
He heard voices, you see, calling to him.
Only together can we prevent the destruction of your world.
It wasn't really his fault. You know, he hasn't actually got his soul yet. All I got was a brain. Anyway, the key thing, as in the thing that is key, is that Maxis fiddled around with the summoning thingamajig and accidentally released an even bigger bastard. Someone even I didn't know was in there. The Shadow Man. The one and only original Harbinger of Doom. So, I'm going to be absolutely truthful with you. Things have got way too far out of control. This isn't any vague woo-hoo evil. We're talking about the Apothicons. The most powerful and evil entities in all the existences that ever existed. And now they're here, in our perfect world. I'm not going to sugarcoat things. It's a fucking shit show.
Unaware that they would be wiped from existence once they have served their purpose, Primus battles alongside Monty in his final battle against the Shadow Man. Sophia arrives from Gorod Krovi and combines with Maxis to reboot the universe.
With the evil vanquished, I can stop making it all nice again. No undead, no apothecons, no shadow man. All of it gone. Forever. But here's the funny thing. You snowflakes shouldn't even still be here. You should be fading out of existence by now. Those blood vials. I was wondering when you'd bring this up. They're from realities we've already closed off. They shouldn't be here. They can't be here. Such a paradox means you're putting my perfect world at risk. You guys and your bloody free will. What to do? What to do? Well, you certainly can't stay here.
You could send us somewhere else. Somewhere we've never been.
I suppose I could make a little corner somewhere in history. A place where I can dump some of the other shit that I've left over, or I just wipe you from existence. Ooh, hang on. Actually, that all works out perfectly.
The act of sending Primus back to the Great War creates an infinite cycle that serves only to prolong Monty's survival and does not create a perfect world as he claimed it would. All post-Revelations versions of Richtofen now know not to trust Monty, but unfortunately have no way of breaking the cycle. Breaking the cycle. Following the events of Zetsubo no Shima, Primus would normally travel to Richtofen's lab under Alcatraz to retrieve the blood vials from the version of Richtofen just about to travel to Morgue City to collect the summoning key. This time, things are different.
Was stumbling around in total darkness part of plan?
You give us the fire, we'll give them hell.
Do not speak so lightly of hell.
Easy, Tech. I didn't mean the real thing.
Gentlemen, we are here.
Where have you taken us?
They should be closer to the lab. No matter. This way, if you please. You're late. Doctor? Doctor? Is there a problem? 2 for each of them. Survival depends on it. Yeah, you remember. So much to do. A vessel for Maxis, the opening of the gateways. Are you sure you're not getting confused? You'll be needing this. The Chronorium. But I've already read it. Read it again. What is the meaning of this? The pages have changed. They... Our blood. Mine blood. You cannot possibly expect me to let this happen. You son of a bitch!
Let me guess. You're not gonna let us in on what that was about.
Or explain why you have people in freezer.
We are leaving.
So, da koniecznie.
Asshole.
Be reborn!
My God, what have I done?
Move it, Doc!
To escape from this dimension, Richtofen sacrifices himself in a machine called the Dark Mechanism, in doing so freeing the many souls trapped in purgatory.
Listen to how the spirits sing. They are free of this realm.
Ain't that swell? Does that mean we win?
I would be greatly relieved if that were so. I am in no hurry to ensnare my mortal soul.
That will not be necessary, Nikolai. The future has changed.
The Chronorium?
Read it. Learn of your true calling. You must keep your soul. It will be needed to defeat Dr. Monty.
Who?
Hello? Hello? I am still here. Wait! My God. What have I done? I honestly thought you were going to let me bleed to death. It was so sad. The cycle is broken, Herr Doctor. As such, insurance policies are no longer needed. I wish I could tell you I was sorry, Edward. But I'm not. No! No, you can help me! You're a doctor! Wait! Don't you know who I am? I have been witness to miracles and calamities! Dimensions born and collapse! I walk a path no other can take! No! I want to be me. Someone who did all the hard work! I wanted to keep going. This me was racist. You won't even remember.
The version of Richtofen seen wearing robes is from the Great War. He somehow froze himself in order to be here to break the cycle. Nikolai now leads the group, having read the Chronorium. Primus travel to Hangar 4 at Groom Lake to recruit the post-moon versions of Ultimus.
We do not understand. The Earth. We saw it destroyed. Yet here we are.
It's more time travel bullshit, Tech. Just hasn't happened yet. Speaking of BS... How the hell did you get back in your body, Doc?
Does it matter, Dempsey?
I'll tell you what matter. Americans still give Nikolai his vodka. Is that your plan, Nikolai? To give up and drink yourself to oblivion? Or do you want to make a difference for once in your life?
You. Oh, Scheiße.
You four must come with us. In time, it will make sense. Now... Intruders on the base. Hangar 4. Now we must go, quickly. There is a war to be fought.
War? What kind of war?
A war unlike any you have ever seen. The Great.
Primus and Ultimus travel to Camp Edward on October 13th, 2025, just before the events of Moon. They release the Avogadro, causing an emergency nuke to be detonated on the facility, which causes the events of Nuketown Zombies. Once the Avogadro is defeated, Primus and Ultimus claim the elemental shard from the APD before they are contacted by Maxis.
Happy, Nikolai? Everything playing out as the Chronorium predicted.
We have what we came for. The elemental shard. Hooray for us! It's too late!
Maxis?
Who knows? Who does he speak of?
Dr. Monty.
What's happening, Nikolai?
You are too late.
Ah, shit. That's all we fucking need.
Hello, Samantha.
Who is the boy?
That would be us.
We're going to fight the war, Eddie. The Great War. Then, we're going back to the house to kill him and burn it all to the ground. Agartha, the ether, the infinite, everything.
Primus and Ultimus set up camp in a frozen forest. Nikolai tells them that this is the calm before the storm, and that they should take this time to celebrate all that they have achieved on their quest so far. Nikolai steps away as all 7 of the other characters enjoy one last drink together. Ultimus Richtofen's soul is still that of undead Richthofen from the ending of Buried, and can therefore communicate with Samuel Stuhlinger, who has just woken up in the lab under Alcatraz. Stuhlinger and the rest of Victis are teleported to the Siberian facility, where they are tasked with creating the Algarthan device. With the help of Pablo Marinas, they succeed by combining the 3 required components. The Vril vessel, also known as the Seal of Duality, forged by Jebediah Brown all those years ago. The Apothecon blood, recovered from the middle of the ocean by Anton Gersh and Harvey Yena. and the elemental shard created using the souls of Ultimus and recovered from the APD by our heroes at Camp Edward. Victus gives the Argarthan device to Pablo, who uses it to teleport to the Great War.
In my dreams of this great war, I meet a German doctor. Oddly, he reminds me of the man who once tormented me, but his face is different. When I meet him, he is angry and frustrated. He mentions a man named Dr. Monty, saying he is to blame. This German doctor, he says he believed following Monty's plan would lead them to secure a better tomorrow. This was a lie, he says. This Dr. Monty, he sent the four to the Great War. It was at this moment the German doctor said he realized the truth. Coming to the Great War did not break the cycle. It was merely the end of their loop. We will die here, he says. Then we will be reborn again. And when it is time, we will meet once more in northern France, continuing this never-ending loop. I wonder, he says, how many times have I been to the Great War? How many times have I perpetuated this endless cycle? I'm tired, he says. I have been trying so very hard to do the right thing. But for all his efforts, he had only fulfilled the prophecy of this cycle. He and Dr. Monty had forged the endless loop. This doctor, he tells me one more thing. He tells me he realizes that Dr. Monty is not inherently evil. Dr. Monty, he says, is trying to save the multiverse the safest way he knows how. By forcing us into this cycle, our story will never end. But also, his universe and his existence will be guaranteed. I can't blame him, he says. Dr. Monty is much like you and me. He just wants to survive. He doesn't want to risk his own annihilation. I tell him, well, if we are doomed to meet here again and again until the end of existence, perhaps there is something we can do to change that. He looks at me with a smile and says, I think you are right, old friend. Day 4721. I think I understand. I know why I am here, why I am trapped on this rock, why I have these dreams, these visions, why I must get to this great war, and what purpose I am to serve in this cataclysmic event of the ages. I am not being sent just to witness what happened, but it is I who helps the Doctor break his cycle. Near the end of the Great War, when all hope is nearly lost, I protect him while he activates a device, a teleportation mechanism. I hold back the undead as he powers it up and give him the moment he needs to escape his fate. I ask him, where will you go? He says, there is a prison I must travel to. Hopefully, I can intercept our friends before it is too late. Before he goes, I give him the elemental gem from the Staff of Fire. I had seen it used to vanquish great evil. He once used it to save my life. Perhaps it will serve him well on his new path. This is why I am here. It is no coincidence that I have also been left with the plans for the Argarthan device. That is how I get to the Great War. I'll need some help. But in my visions, I have seen that I will have help soon. For now, I must bide my time. For my time is coming.
The Argothan device is then sent to Nikolai, who uses it for his ultimate plan.
Comrades, as we toast our victory, I want each of you to think about what you really want. Where would you like to go now? Believe me, you can have it.
Richtofen? Has something gone wrong? We did everything you asked! You haven't forgotten about us, have you?
No, Sammy. I haven't forgotten about you.
It is time, Richtofen. The multiverse must come to an end. The paradox must be resolved. At least, it will be quick.
What are you talking about? We found the Agarvan device!
I know. And I'm so sorry.
Me too, Richtofen. We fought for what we wanted. We got more than we deserved. All the chapters of our lives, good and bad. Even if there was no witness, even if no one cared to see, it still happened somewhere. We fought the Great War over and over, but victory could never be ours. We were always doomed to fail. Monty told us the truth. Our journey is the very reason this madness exists. We are the ones who fractured the universe. This is the truth the Chronorium showed me. The truth Richtofen could no longer face. When we are gone, so too is everything that spewed forth from the ether. Element 115, the Apothecons, even Monty himself. All of it will be banished to where it belongs. The Dark Ether. We should not be here. Our time has passed. But for all the pain and torment we have endured together, as we leave this life behind, it is my hope that you know one thing beyond any doubt.
Look away, Eddie.
You were more than just my allies. My brothers in arms. You were my friends.
With the summoning key destroyed and the entire multiverse banished to the dark ether, all there is left to do is listen to our heroes' dying wishes as we watch Samantha and Eddie walk towards a brand new, rebooted universe, allowing the children a second chance at life.
I would like to return to my home, my beloved, before the bombs fell, if only to die by her side.
I see myself at peace, serene, sitting beneath a cherry blossom tree, listening to the joy of my children at play.
I think I'd like to teach medicine, maybe pathology.
You know, the more I think about it, the more I think I'd be a darn good DI. Get those kids toughened up.
I would like to be in favorite bar, but as long as I have vodka, I am a happy man.
I would like to know for sure that I brought honor to my ancestors. The Emperor.
I should probably try to relax. Take up a hobby. Maybe I could
Let me think about it. Wherever I go, you know I'll be kicking ass.